We're live.
And then we go.
Yeah,
What does live mean exactly?
isn't it the aspect of in front of like it happening in the motion?
I always think of like live streaming though, and I don't think we're doing that necessarily.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
So right now we're actually live on YouTube, Twitch, and on Facebook.
Hot damn.
Yeah, so whoever.
So do I need to watch my mouth?
No, fuck, no, fuck, no.
Okay.
Fuck, fuckity, fuck, no. That dude, you'd be surprised how many times I get that question too. They're just like,
Yeah.
they'll start with the story, and then they get into it, and then they slip the bad word, and they're just like, oh wait, can I say that? And I was yes, fuck.
The FCC, we're all nervous.
Is that still a thing?
It actually is, as far as I know, but I think that it's losing its integrity. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, look at us now. Like, we're off of their radar. Like, they can chime in all they want, but what regulations can they give us?
I think there's too much. There's too much out there. There's so much media being produced at this point. Like, what the fuck are they going to do about it,
Interesting.
right? There's
Yeah.
too much media.
I can see that.
It used to be so much more controlled, right? Like, we don't have that anymore. We're not... People are out there making anything that they want and putting it out there live and just displaying all kinds of media and content. And honestly, they're all making money off of it. I'm pretty sure the FCC is kind of like, we can back off on that because like money's being made off of these kids that are even just making shit for free. And someone else is making money probably.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Do you hear that little hiss? You see it? You hear it again?
Yeah.
I do, unfortunately. I left that stupid speaker on too loud.
Oh, get it.
No, it's
Get it.
See, that's the beauty of live, because I'm just like, oh, all these mistakes are taken care of. I'm like, no, it's not.
Get it. Get the speaker. See, quick fix. It's just a reach around. You have quite a setup, though.
Thank you. This is 7 months of me building this. Just kidding. No, I've been working pretty hard for a while. I've been doing this podcast for like 3 years now.
Good.
This is episode 169.
Okay. Oh, great number.
Let's
Let's roll with that. Good, because my podcast was called This Is About Sex. So we're just going to roll with...
Really now?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? That was the topic?
Yeah, I only made 4 episodes. It was me and a very good friend of mine. And I just want you to know, too, that you sound a lot better than I do. Like,
Whoa.
I'm tinny over here, just so you know. But it's fine. I'm not upset. But
we could put in some chorus effect if you need to, just to fix it a little.
Because you sound real great, but we have the same microphone. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not an expert on the technical issues when it comes to the sound grabbing. But
if you guys have any concerns or questions, just let us know in the comments if it sounds bad. I don't think it sounds bad at all, but some people get subconscious of their own sounds.
I actually don't mind how I sound on I think I did, when I was like a teenager, and then for whatever reason that I got over that. But I always like sang as a kid, and I was in like choirs, and then I actually ran the sound for our musicals and plays when I was in high school. I was the president of drama club, and I ran tech.
Nice. So we do have a lot in common.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've like really been inundated with tech life, but I don't know. I mean,
it's not like you're shying away from it, or you're just not like, oh, techno paranoia.
No, yeah. I mean, and I kind of give no fucks, but thank God for being in your 30s. Like, I think that's probably a part of it. Like,
might be the case.
Yeah. I think I cared a lot more when I was younger, where I was like, oh no, and I'm just like, whatever.
What's the difference at this point?
Whatever. You know how much stuff's out there? So much media, so much content.
Well, that's the thing too. Like they always joke about it too. Like if you were really to watch everything on Netflix, it's like almost all of just one person existence of life. Yeah. Like if every little thing from start to finish is like almost a combination of like somebody's 70-year life or something.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
It's horrible because there's stuff on there that will never get seen. Never. Even if you wanted to so hard, you're in your life to watch everything on Netflix, it is impossible. And that's kind of sad to think, because like there's so much, I guess, lost talent or lost art that probably has never going to get discovered, because like there's so much of it now. And back then it was very exclusive. So it's just like, this guy is an amazing composer. Anyone else that composes after him is shit. So let's just go listen to his stuff.
I think you're diving into like every artist's like greatest fear that I've ever known in this lifetime, or at least maybe the last 10 years, where it's just like, it's just going to be lost. There's so much. And you know, and also the fact that like you never really get anything until you're dead. You're never really known until you're dead, which isn't necessarily true by any means, but it still seems pretty elite.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it just like, I mean, the people that you know, think of how many artists you know who are alive right now and making artwork that you can name. You know, is it really more than like a handful? I mean, unless you're like really up in that community and you care a lot about that, you know, that topic, what's going on there. Like, really, how many of us as just average human beings can like name artists who are alive and making work that people are caring about and seeing?
Well, you heard that, folks. We're about to play a game. Can you name that artist? So I'm a big YouTube nerd.
Excellent.
I like a lot of YouTube stars.
Okay.
Can you name any YouTube celebrities?
It's coming. He's so cute. He's a makeup artist. What's his name? This doesn't sound good because he has controversy. Yeah, he does. He has controversy. I know. I just learned about it. This is really funny because I was actually in Ulta a couple of weeks ago. Wait, I'm also a makeup artist.
Where's Ulta?
Ulta is a makeup store. Ulta Beauty.
Okay.
And hair products. It's a beauty store. It's a chain.
Like, she's across country. She's in Ulta in Santa Fe. I don't know where that's at.
It's extreme. And I actually took my niece. My niece is 14. She's been visiting. She actually just went home, but she was visiting for a while. And I took her to Ulta because she's kind of into that kind of thing. And I was like, well, you know, let's get some fun stuff. And then he was there on a product. Like now he has like some kind of product line in Ulta. And he started out as a YouTube guy. I cannot think of his name, but you all know him if you know YouTube, I guess. But then she informed me of the controversy.
So are we talking about James Charles?
There it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of celebrities that are like, you know, they're like, oh, I'm a little like makeup artist, and I'm still.
Oh yeah, there's tons.
But James Charles is actually a big name.
Well, he's big now, but I mean, you know, like what, 6 years ago?
It wasn't really that.
No, but he was still doing his thing. I mean, I don't know when he started, but I feel like it was several years ago that I was like, oh, this cutie, you know?
Yeah, and then, this little boy.
And then all of a sudden we have like age, sexuality controversy issues, which, you know, is funny because I actually did a podcast. One of our episodes was about the old and young controversy.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. What is your take on the old and young controversy?
So tough, man.
Tell me about it.
Big topic.
I have that problem too because, okay, as you can see, I look like if I was still in my early 20s.
Well, yeah, when I met you, I was like, what are you, like 25?
Yeah.
And then you're like, keep going.
I'm just like, yeah, I just passed 30 this year. Yeah. But that's a problem because I'll go to like maybe a Comic-Con convention or like some kind of like where there's a lot of nerdy people. And I'm just like, hey, this is my culture, this is my people that are here, but yet I find maybe somebody that looks very beautiful in costume and then all of a sudden they're 14 and I'm just like, whoa, I am so sorry, I didn't mean that either, I'm not trying to be this person, but
no, line drawn, you got morals, line drawn,
but it's hard now.
I understand. It's always been hard. It's always been hard. So it's funny, I went to school for anthropology and Spanish. And so...
¡Órale!
¡Órale!
Eso me gusta mucho.
¿Sí hablas español?
Sí, yo sí sé mucho español, pero se me está olvidando porque no estoy viviendo con mis papá y mi mamá.
Sí, entiendo completamente. No hablo todo el tiempo, no hablo cada día, entonces no hablo bien.
Pero, yeah, that's it, no bien. But it's so helpful at my work too because we hire a lot of like Mexicans and stuff that speak Spanish, and nobody in the kitchen knows how to speak Spanish. So every time there's a problem, they're like, "Angel, can you please come to the door?" And I'm just like, "Great, this is gonna be fun." And then like they see me talking for like 20 minutes about like the most random because we just start talking. And,
yeah, of course.
And learning I just want to get back into it. So
yeah,
the fact that you speak Spanish.
Well, maybe we'll practice and have fun together because I do love speaking Spanish and I definitely need to practice more. I studied abroad and I've traveled quite a bit, but I don't do it every day. But hell, man, I went to fucking school for 12 years for that shit.
For Spanish?
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Did you go to any other countries for it and stuff?
Yeah, so I studied abroad in Venezuela.
Okay.
Which is like crazy controversy country, but I seem to like controversy. That's
welcome to MuseMe TV.
Hello. But yeah, I mean, I went there when Chavez was the president.
Wow.
When Hugo Chavez was in power, and it was very, very interesting. I mean, an amazing experience, very eye-opening. I was 20 years old, learned a lot, and yeah, I mean, just about their culture but about politics too. You know, things that you don't find out about living in the States and things that are twisted, in our perspective because of the information that we receive.
Interesting.
So yeah, super, super interesting. But okay, where did we start with that though? Okay, so wait, anthropology. Okay, the issue of age difference and me having gone to school for anthropology. So I've always been in love with just people, and knowing about everyone throughout the world. And there are so many cultures throughout the world where this is not an issue the way that it is in basically first world and
Western civilization.
Western modernized civilization. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but like it's something to definitely be recognized. Where do I sound better if I move it? Oh, look at that.
Do you?
See, no, I do sound better.
There you go. You'll be podcasting like a pro in no time.
Yeah, you're gonna have to listen to at least one of my episodes so that you can hear how terrible. No, it's really fun. We had a great time. We really produced it well, I think. But
nice.
So it comes back though to like, okay, so all of these people all over the world are dealing with this issue in different ways, and in a lot of cultures, like they just don't see it like we see it. Like there's just not this idea of what is appropriate and laws around age, right? And even today in France, actually the age for consent is 15.
What?
Yeah, dude. Today, I mean that's a modern westernized country,
Interesting.
Today, it's 15.
And and even through like history, like the taboo was brought more in like present culture than it was back then, because you saw like women having kids at the age of like 13 or 14 whenever they can have the menstrual cycle or something was happening in that sense. Well, it was kind of like that movement towards it,
right?
But as like a society, where did we judge that like, hey, that's a little too early, hey, you probably don't know what's going on, especially when we develop more about like, oh, your brain isn't even developed till you're 25.
Psychology. And right, well, a lot of this honestly comes with the Industrial Revolution, because if you think about this from a very long time ago, even a couple hundred years ago, when it comes to really, young girls, they're girls to us, 13, 14, 15 years old, and they're being married to 30-year-old men, you have to look at this. This is honestly, from their perspective, this is economical in a lot of ways. Like, the thing is like a 15-year-old boy ain't got shit. like
literally.
Yeah, ain't got shit. And neither does a 20-year-old boy. Like, ain't got shit. So why would you ever take this beautiful, fertile female creature you've created in your family and then marry her off to a 20-year-old boy? That doesn't make any sense. She's going to fucking die. Like, she's not going to make it. You're married, like, it literally, they're looking at this as opportunity to advance their culture and societies. Like, even if they don't use those words about it, it's like, it's about continuing their way of life. And so you have girls who are really, really fertile, right? From the time that they're 13, 14, 15 until, maybe 20 up to 25, which they're considering old at that point, right? And they're marrying, these young women because this was a decision made by families. This, like, marriage out of love is a very Western concept.
Okay.
Very Western concept. Like, marriage is more about economy, and like in older and more traditional societies, it's about economy and survival. Like, I love when people like talk about, I love when people are like, God, the world's so fucked today, and I'm like, yeah, man. I'm just like, dude, can you imagine? Like, we should fucking live like in the dark ages. It was like so much better. Like, I just like want to like tell everybody all the time. I'm just like, yes, I hear what you're saying. I'm not a tard here, but like I get it. Like I understand we have so many things that are going on and they're all worth discussing.
Especially that it's gotten better. Like the negative aspects that people are talking about, they're like, oh, well, people are creepy on the internet. Well, people have been creepy throughout their whole lives.
Forever.
We have the internet for information bases. We can actually expand our mindset. We can find out way more than we were ever to do in even 10 years ago.
We can call people out a lot easier than we ever could before.
That is kind of
right? That's a sketchy one.
Because like you can call people out for rightful things where you're just like, I don't agree with this is wrong, or you can call somebody out just because you're a troll.
Sure. Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. There's the troll.
And
right.
that kind of makes the internet look bad as well too.
Wasn't there always the troll? Like, I mean, before, like, there was like, you know, there was always that little sniveling jester fuck. Who,
Well,
like,
I mean, that's why it's called a troll, right?
Yeah,
because the little dude under the
bridge,
that
man.
is annoying. You're just like, oh god, I'm just trying to pass the bridge.
And he was just like, man.
I'll do it.
He's like, but I know you're fucked up, and I know all your secrets and all your doubts about life and all of your insecurities, so I'm gonna bring them up.
You know what's funny is that guy sounds like a cholo. Hey, buddy, I know all your secrets.
That sounds like a New Mexican troll.
That's beautiful. Oh man, and that's the beautiful thing too. Is like there's so much diverse culture. Like, why isn't it like there's so much of it that it shouldn't be like hindered or shut down or put to a corner. And
it's tough, you know, it's really tough. As a person, like, I definitely consider myself a feminist. I definitely care about women's rights a lot. I care about these things that are happening to young women and the way that we're being socialized. But at the same time, coming from that anthropology background and kind of knowing more about the history of where some of these other things have come from, such as, you know, really giant age gaps in marriage and in sexual partners, like, it's a tough fucking discussion. You know, I don't think there's a blanket answer, and a lot of people want that, but isn't that like the root of philosophy? Is everyone wants a blanket answer? They want the answer explained, done. They want black and white. We all want this, like, here's the line, don't fucking cross it. Well, France decided the line was 15 years old, and we decided it was 18. So I don't know, you know.
Yeah,
like,
where can you say who's bad, right? It's not like the country's in shambles. It's not like France is like, oh great, like everything's skyrocketing. There's mass murders. There's so many evil things happening just because this one decision to be at 15, like.
Well, and you know, there's so much around the psychology of it that we're taking into account, which is definitely valid and legitimate. That other places and other people, like, that's just not a part of like the way that they live. That's like, what? Like, this isn't a problem, you know, like, we don't see this as a problem. Interesting. So it's pretty fascinating.
There's a lot of, oh man, I can't believe that there's so many of those weird taboos too. Here's one. This is weird, but I'm going to say it.
Let's do it.
So like when I was younger, even to like a certain age, I still kind of feel a little weird, but my mom would want to kiss me on the lips. Like,
oh, shit.
Like a really like, oh, thank you so much. You're such a good kid.
Yeah.
But like, the older that I've gotten and the more people that I've talked to that have seen that, they're just like, that's fucking weird. My mom would have never done that to me. My mom barely like touches my hand. And I'm just like, that's cool, but like, that's not your life. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a different aspect of what goes on in somebody else's house. Mm-hmm. But that's so small. Like, that's a very little thing that people are judging on.
And if anything, the one thing that makes you uncomfortable about it is that someone else might not approve, but it doesn't make you uncomfortable about the fact that your mom is showing you that kind of affection. Yeah, because it's not inappropriate with your mom.
It feels like
love.
I'm less like, oh, well, obviously I'm not.
That's mama love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because again, they put this stigma or this thing where it's like, oh, that's not how you're supposed to do it, or oh, that's weird, or oh,
right,
I saw a porno like that. I'm just like, dude, calm down.
Calm you fuck down.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but there's even don't even get me started with like Alabama and incest. So,
oh, God.
So there's a fine line. I get it. Just don't bother me with it. And it just, that topic of us talking about this kind of made me bring that up too, where I'm just like,
dude, it's challenging. It's a really challenging topic. It's so complex. I do not have the answers. I love exploring it and thinking about it, but like, hell, man, I mean, it goes deep. Like, there's so much out there. I mean, just think about the kink community, you know, and like people who are into kink. There's so much like age play in kink community. Like, it's really fascinating. Where two consenting adults, like, who are both, I mean, they could be the same age, and one person plays as if they, like, in sexual activity, one person will play as if they are a younger person, and they're consenting to do that during sex because they get off on it. Yeah. And they recognize that, like, it's a consensual sexual play.
Yeah, they both agreed on the situation.
They're agreeing on it, right? And it doesn't like make someone fucked up, but yet people are into it. A lot of people are into it. Yeah. And like, what is that about? You know, and like, and then I'm like, well, why are we judging this when in it's like, this is a transgression, really, right? Because like, we're shamed for that idea. So a lot of us are often really attracted to things we're shamed about. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I've heard of that before too, where it's just like, oh, if you're not allowed to do it, it makes you want to do it more.
Sure.
So.
I mean, think about it's like every teenager I can think of, like my little teenage niece I was talking about, love you, but like she has this little boyfriend that I'm like I've never met him, but just the things I hear about, I'm just like, I don't like this boy. But like, I'm also like protective auntie over here. But like, I'm just like, if I can't tell her, like, don't be with the boy, because then she's going to be with the boy for even more. She's going to like cling to the boy even harder because
like, oh, she doesn't want me to be with you. And then like the I don't want to be an asshole, but the boy kind of insinuates on that too, where it's like, oh, well, why me? What's wrong with me? And then it makes it feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't listen to her.
Right. And then we're like, and then they're just all up in their transgression where they're just like, well, they don't want us to, so now we're even more in love. I'm just like,
that's, oh man, that's crazy to think about though, is that like you kind of just can play that psychology role on somebody where you're just like, you're good, you do what you want to do, and then they end up discovering like, oh yeah, this isn't what I wanted.
Oh, sometimes it takes a while, man. I can't even imagine. I'm not a parent, so it's like I can only, and I've taken care of a lot of kids in my life, and I'm just like, I got to step back, and I got a lot of friends who are parents, and I'm like, man, that is epic.
You just watch as an observer. Yeah,
but to be in that role as a parent and like watching your kids doing, and like you are choosing to play psychology in this point, right? Like, I mean, not everybody, I guess, but I think a lot of people are kind of like, they see their kids doing something they don't want them to do. It depends on the age, but there's like so many different ways of going about it. But I think of teenagers, and it's like, good fucking luck.
This makes sense. That's so weird. And just not even bringing up like household environments and stuff like that too. That could influence on a positive or negative kind of way too.
So much.
Life. It's horrible.
It's fantastic. Dark ages. Just think about the dark ages.
Like, let's go back, guys. It's going to be great. I think I want to live till I'm 25 all the time.
Oh my God. I can't. I mean, okay, I know that you're from Peñasco, and I lived in Taos for a long time, so we're familiar with this norteño culture,
Yeah.
And I love it. And at the same time, and Taos is really unique. It's kind of Humboldt-y in some ways. And like, there's just like a lot of people there, I feel like, who are trying to kind of stay out of the modern system, and a lot of transplants, really. Like, I wouldn't say like the natives necessarily of the place, but like people who have moved there, like myself, from other places, and they were like, oh, they found their little hippie fucking Mecca, and then they're like, well, we're gonna have the land, and we're gonna like make it like this, and we're gonna live like, in this older way. And I'm like, okay, like for a while I was like kind of down with that, and then I was like, y'all are fucking dumb. Like,
there's some things that just have to progress.
I just, I mean, dude, I lived in a yurt for 3 years.
What are all these words you keep using?
Did you live in a yurt? Have you ever seen a yurt?
A yurt to me sounds like it's like a circus, but like you have to sleep in the cage with the monkey.
Yeah.
Is that a yurt? That's not a yurt, but it sounds like that should be a yurt.
Well, circus is close, dude. It's a glorified tent is what it fucking is. Like, a yurt is a glorified tent, okay? It's just a big tent.
Holy shit.
Like, yeah, dude. And like, I had the spigot, I had a well, and I had like a frost-free spigot outside my house. I did not have running water inside of my yurt.
Whoa.
I had to like go and fill up my thing with water and bring it in and like heat it up on my stove to like do my dishes. And it's like, I do not ever want to live like that again.
Little House on the Prairie.
I felt self-righteous as fuck about it at the time, though, dude. I did. I was just like, this is real. And then I was like, oh my God.
You go, Laura Ingalls.
Can I just tell you that that's a Wisconsin story, and I grew up in Wisconsin.
Oh.
And then Little House on the Prairie is from Wisconsin.
Nice. The only reason why I know about Little House on the Prairie is because when I was growing up, my mom always watched it, and I was just like, this is torture. Oh. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, I appreciate it a little more.
Sure. Yeah. It was a good show.
Kind of like music, too. Like, I used to hate the Grease soundtrack. With a passion.
Wow.
But my mom used to watch it every weekend.
She loved it. Oh my God, every weekend.
Every week, like psychopath weekends.
Oh my. That sounds neurotic.
Her and my dad are fighting. I'm throwing on the Grease album.
Oh my God, make it better, make it better.
All I really care about is John Travolta.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
So yeah, growing up, I hated it so much. But now that's like one of my like top 10 on my Spotify playlist, like because of growing up and getting used to it so much.
Well, and then it's got like kind of fuzzy memories in some weird, twisted way.
Hell yeah, I'm totally. Summer nights are just not the same.
Oh my God. I grew up watching a lot of musicals.
Okay.
My mother loved musicals, and I watched a lot of them, and I sang along so much. I love to sing, and West Side Story.
So you've always had this like performance aspect of you, like growing up and stuff?
Totally. Yeah. From a really young age, I was like involved in theater, and yeah, just loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always the best part too, is like when you find a niche at a younger age. I didn't start playing guitar till I was 16, but I wish I would have started when I was like 10 or something.
Oh, I feel that way about everything.
Yeah. But that's it turned me into the man you see today, so I can't really complain about it too much.
I know. I understand. I actually was just talking with my friend about this earlier. We were watching some of the Olympics, and I love the gymnastics, and because it's very much performance with athleticism. It's just such an incredible sport to me. I've always loved it. And when I was really little, I begged and begged and begged that to be in gymnastics and dance, and I was denied. So I never got to be in it.
Horrible.
I know, it's a sad story. So like sometimes when I watch it, I still feel these like pangs of jealousy where it's like, I would have been in dance. Like, I just like have this just like epic performance thing that I never got to like really learn the skills as a kid when you're a sponge, you know, and you just like, you're a little rubber bandy sponge and you learn everything
so quick,
and you just don't even fucking think about it, you know, and then you're an adult and you're just like, how the fuck do you make that? Do it again? Right. Wait, can I watch it again? Wait, do it again. Shit. Like learning how to salsa, you know, it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, I have that problem now because I've been working on like magic, sleight of hands and stuff like that.
Fun.
But it's so hard because I'm like, oh my God, I'm 30. This is horrible.
My hands are already trained into non-magical things.
Right? How is it doing it? I mean, but then again, it's the practice thing too. Like just doing it so much and so much. The beautiful thing about the guitar is that it showed me what true discipline is. Because I really wanted to get good at it, and even though it took me 16 years, I am really good at it. Like, but it took so long. Yeah. So now if I want to get good at another skill, I know it's going to take time and it's going to take practice because of that thing. And that thing is like literally like my Excalibur because it turned me into the man you see today.
There it is. It's so true, though. That's a very, very true statement. That can just, I think, be harder and harder as you get older, especially, you know, we got fucking day jobs and like we got things to do, and then I got like an iPad, so it's like I just want to tap and then
just stay stuck.
And then I'm just like Reddit, you know, and I'm like scrolling, and then I'm like, I should really be on Procreate right now. I bought that program, it's so nice. I have my like Apple Pencil, and like I should really be teaching myself more about how to make those gorgeous digital cloud paintings that are in my head.
Yeah, but then again, scroll.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the beauty of learning new skills. One of the things I've been venturing into now, the past 2 years, is stand-up comedy.
Oh, great!
It's crazy fun, but it's hard.
I remember you telling me about this when we met.
It is very hard.
Yeah. What makes it hard?
The hardest part is like thinking you're funny when you actually aren't. But then again, I've come to discover it's not that it isn't funny. It's just that I don't have enough confidence to say it as in a funny way.
I think it's all confidence.
It's a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
There's a couple jokes now that hit very well because I've said them so many times and I've done it so many times. But going up there trying to start a new, like, oh, I got a new idea. I got a new premise. And just like kicking babies. Silence.
Gonna bring up a topic that's tough for people. Do you practice your jokes on other people, like your friends? Do you like throw them at people?
Kind of, but I try to be very, very funny in the moment with people. So I'm doing a lot of crowd work, like at work or when I'm talking to somebody. I'm about like, hey, wait, what did you say about my mom? Like they didn't even say anything. They just like were like, can I have like a slice of bread? And then I'll just say something stupid just to kind of see if they're listening or what that brings into the table. But I do need to stop because I feel like they're going to call me into the HR department here soon. Oh, no. And be like, dude, I get you're trying to be funny, but you cannot call people fat.
Well, you got to, you know, it's a different world today.
That's no fair, though, because, okay, this is one thing venturing into comedy. is like me going into comedy. I honestly thought I had the grounds to say anything I want, but it has to be tasteful and funny.
I don't know, Lenny Bruce. I'm pretty sure nothing's tasteful in comedy. It's meant to be raunchy. Like,
but you have to make it so that it's not
too offensive
or whatever you're trying to portray. Like maybe you are trying to portray some kind of like, domestic disturbance kind of joke, but yet it doesn't make you seem like, oh, this guy doesn't care if a woman gets beat or not. You have to kind of make it in a certain way. And
those are challenging topics.
And that's what I've been learning a lot too. But the thing is I feel like cancel culture is kind of stepping in the way of trying to be funny now.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand that. I've been really into and interested in cancel culture. Like, just because, again, anthropology brain sometimes, right?
You're just starting to venture.
It's just so fascinating to me, the way that people behave, and like the way that there's been this pushback against a lot of media that's been really offensive to people and honestly insensitive, right? So there's this pushback now where people are like, fuck you, you're fucking canceled. And it works sometimes. And then other times I think it kind of actually works in the opposite direction, it seems. Or it just kind of blows over. I don't know. Where does cancel culture lead to? What's it going to do? Do you have any predictions?
I think that cancel culture is leaning more towards I don't want to sound like a socialist, but like kind of like in a sense where everyone is going to kind of have to follow a rule no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of disheartening because, like, again, maybe I do have a friend who's really funny, but he's bald and fat, and he's cool with me calling him bald and fat, and he embraces it in a way where he's like, that's who I am.
It makes him funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that take that into consideration. It's just like, that's horrible. You shouldn't be making fun of that person like that.
So we're being criticized for being too sensitive. That's what I definitely see in the criticism of cancel culture. And
that's it right there. Is like they're criticizing something that is not them. Mm-hmm. Like literally they point out things that are just like, oh, that table is very offensive. Like, you didn't even make it. You have nothing to do with that table. Why is it so bad? So I feel like that comes into play a lot more, where they're just like, even if it's just like a mob mentality where it's just like, oh, my friends don't like that, so I don't think I should like that either.
I mean, where do you think like it really comes from, like at the root of it? Like someone's upset that you're making fun of your friend who's bald and fat, who's totally fine with that because it makes him funny too. But someone else finds that offensive, and they're not bald and they're not fat, but they're calling you out for how offensive that is. Like, what's the root of it for that person who's doing the call out? Is it their own insecurity about something?
Interesting. I don't know, because maybe they have some kind of similarity to that, where they're just like, my friend is like this, but I would never say something like that. So you saying that makes me offended that maybe I would have never thought of saying something like that. Or
maybe they have something that, like, that they're really sensitive about, that someone has made fun of and it made them feel like shit because they're not a comedian.
But would they cancel everything then because that one thing?
Oh, the lines are tough. It's kind of like the age difference thing.
Oh, man. See, and that's what I feel like is the beauty of trying to discuss these things, because obviously there's no line. Like, there's so much of a line that people are like, oh, I jumped over it. Oh, the line's way too far for me to even get close to. But yet that perspective of where you think the line is, or if there even is a line, is kind of making this more of like, well, there shouldn't be that much cancel culture. Or if there is cancel culture, it should be in a sense where maybe we should be canceling, like, see, I don't even want to say that, because then if we start one way, everything gets canceled.
I think, though, at least, like, I can say that I find it really productive that we're even having the conversation, that people are doing cancel culture. I actually find it productive, even if it's kind of fucked up in some ways, because think about the days when, like, you put your head down and you fucking deal with it. And that wasn't that long ago. Like, a lot of us, I think, did that as kids, and I think our parents definitely did that as kids. And maybe you can even relate to this in the sense of, like, your parents speak Spanish, right? But, like, we know about the culture of this state, and that how Spanish was forced out of this culture. It was forced out in the public school system, and it was done in the 60s and the 70s, and they were not allowed to speak Spanish in school. They were forced to learn English, which is great. Like, let's learn English, but let's allow people to also speak Spanish too, right?
Yeah.
But they were told that it was bad, it was wrong, and they were hiding it, right? And like, you know, they were oppressed. It's like, put your head down and fucking deal with it, right? Rather than like, what do? You stand up against an oppressor. I kind of feel like cancel culture, even though like it's got its sucky elements, at the same time, there's a little bit of like, fuck you about it too, where it's just like, you can't make us just like turn into something we don't want to be anymore. And like, you can't just like brainwash us and then, or, you know, tell us that we're fucking sissies, or, you know, like without us being like, you know what, fuck you and your shit's wrong. Like, here's why.
Is that cancel culture though? Is that actually somebody standing up for like moral values of themselves?
I feel like cancel culture has a little bit of that to it though, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm sure it goes further than that, and it's complex like all of these.
Very true.
But I feel like, to me, it seems, and maybe this is just my perspective, but like the beginning of it, at least from what I can see, seems like it's kind of a pushback against like oppressive social norms, and, you know, like people who are doing things that are straight up wrong, you know. And like, I mean, for instance, straight up wrong to me would be like Harvey Weinstein, you know, and pedophilia and a lot of these different things where people have gotten away with some really fucked up stuff because of power, you know, and like, and people are pushing back against that. And I think it's gone further, for sure, of course, because it's got momentum now. And, you know, now it's just like, well, let's cancel Pokemon, you know, because of some random thing. Like, it doesn't have genitalia, so, right. You know, stop calling it a he. I don't know, you know, like, it seems like it's definitely gone to an extreme, but I kind of love that like pendulum of society where like we do this swing. We always do it. We've done it for a long time. And I think the pendulum keeps like swinging even further in each direction as we come along in history. I think it's really fascinating.
Wow. So in that sense, so over time though, is this pendulum like kind of like narrowing itself? So it's like, okay, it's not too bad right now, but obviously when it gets like right now, I feel like is the worst. See, I don't want to say this is the worst time in history.
It's the worst time.
But the
Dark Ages.
The way that people are divided is really weird, and
it's extreme.
It's hard to deal with.
Feels more extreme than when we were growing up.
Yeah, even in the 90s or whenever.
Sure, yeah. Or, yeah, I mean, in my 20s and, like, yeah, it seems more extreme now. I don't think that that's an illusion. I think maybe it is more extreme. But then sometimes I think about it. I try to, like, analyze that where I'm like, is it more extreme? You know, and really does it matter, I think, where you live? And think about all these cultures all over the world where they've just straight up lived in extreme for fucking forever. And like decades and decades and decades of extreme, you know. And like we don't really have that experience here in the US in the same way, where like we haven't experienced that kind of extreme for some time. So like maybe it feels more divided than it has been, like even in our really relatively short lifetimes, you know. But I don't know. I mean, have you talked to any like ancianos lately about like the McCarthy era?
No, like, yeah.
You know, like I think it was like there was some extreme shit. What about Vietnam? You know, I mean, like
that kind of like brought us more together, though, right? In a sense, where like okay, I guess you can't really use Vietnam because that war was kind of fucked up, but in the sense where we kind of got together because we knew something else outside of the United States was causing problems with us.
Well, but at the same time, like I think about like how we were treating veterans who were straight up fucking drafted, and some of them weren't drafted, but veterans from Vietnam, and how many of those people got treated really terribly when they came back, like if they weren't like on some, you know, anti-Vietnam protest side, and if they were just coming back and trying to fucking live life, you know. They were
like, given really hard. It was harder for them.
It was pretty fucking hard. Like, I feel like we were pretty divided in the sense that there were a lot of more, you know, maybe quote unquote mainstream folks who, you know, were not on like this super hippie protest side, which I think is what we have. Like, it's kind of a skewed view of that era if we didn't live it, which neither of us did. You know, where like the stuff, the media that we're seeing is a lot about the protesting, you know, and honestly, that was like not the majority of the country. You know, that was a pretty small privileged pocket of people that were doing that, right?
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Like, other people during that time, like, when you look at those protests, who do you see? Like, look at one of those photos again. If you haven't looked at it in a while, like, look at one of those photos. Who do you see in those protests? You see a lot of young white people. You know? Do you see a lot of other colors of people coming into those protests? Here and there, a little bit. But honestly, you know, Black Panthers, like, you know, so much social justice going on in, like, the racial movement there for blacks. Like, that was a totally different fucking thing that they were dealing with. And, like, Vietnam was a part of it. But, like, holy shit, dude. There was so much more going on, like, in that realm that, like, they weren't out there, like, just protesting Vietnam really at all. Like, I don't know. I feel like that was a pretty divided time. Think about, like, you know, segregation in our own country. How fucking divided.
No, that was horrible. I mean, you literally had labels of what people can drink and can't drink.
Right. Yeah. And, like, that wasn't that long ago, you know? Like, my folks lived through that, you know? And, like, think about just, like, how divided that was for us, like, as a people, as a nation. Okay. That was really divided, was it not?
It was. But yeah. And that's what's crazy to think about is, like, you bringing that aspect of back then to now, it doesn't seem that bad. You're just like, oh, but we still, you know, we did stuff together and it was America. But over here, you have people rioting and going to the state capitol or, like, to the capitol and just totally bombarding the place. But yet, again, there were some difficult times that we were facing back then. It was
intense. It was so intense. It was so divided. I mean, can you imagine being a white person falling in love with a black person at that time? Falling in love with any other person, white and Mexican and black, doesn't matter. Any race combining in the U.S. at that time. Like, you were on guard if that was going to be your choice.
Interesting.
On guard, dude. Like, we were so divided. So divided.
And that's crazy to think about. Like, did we really understand science then at that time? Because we know that we should mix our genetic pool. We knew that we get better human beings if we do that.
So smart.
But obviously not, because even then, the example of, like, having not to learn Spanish at a young age, like, you know, don't learn English. Studies now show if you know a bilingual language, your brain power is it's so high because you have to analyze the words. You're not only speaking the word. There's so many neurons in your brain just blowing up because you speak Spanish.
Dude, it's so cool. Like, I have to say, like, my poet little squishy self, like, fell in love with Spanish because of understanding a culture through it.
Nice.
Because of how they explain things and, like, how they might describe something in a different way. And it just, like, pulled at my heartstrings hard.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
It's crazy to think about, too, with cancel culture and Spanish or any other language that kind of has this female and male kind of like the way they're portrayed in the word. Like, you literally would say it in that way.
Romance languages, correct. Yeah.
But then again, is that bad? Is that something that we should not be talking that way at all?
I know what a wild concept. And, like, how are we going to get past that? I don't know. Like, I'm just, like, thinking about because I, you know, learned Spanish and other languages are like that too. And I don't know how we get past that one, you know, like, I don't know, like, how do we not call something, you know, L something and La something? Like, how do we not do that? I don't know, without completely, like, breaking down the language and just calling it, you know, inappropriate and inadequate. I don't know.
And there's a sense too where I know it probably wouldn't never really happen, but it's a big fear of mine that my dad, he's so old-fashioned that he would use these terms for describing somebody at a supermarket, at a store. Just be like, ese es el vato, esa es la chica, or, you know, something like that.
Sure.
to a sense where it's just literally like for even like a cup, right? If you were gonna get it, you'd be like, yo quiero ese vaso, pero dale. No, see, I'm kind of getting it mixed up. See, I don't know Spanish as well as I need to. But there are those words that literally have the same meaning, but you change it with the O and the A to make it feminine or masculine.
Of course, yeah. Yes.
But I'm scared that
adjectives you're always changing. Adjectives you're always. So adjectives are descriptors, right? So, like, if you're wearing a pink skirt or if you're wearing a pink dress, Those are two. So it's funny because vestido, dress, right, is a masculine word. But,
there you go.
But skirt, falda, is a feminine word. So like a pink skirt is, a falda rosa, and then like a pink dress is a vestido roso. So you're changing the adjective, which is pink in this case, to match the noun.
Interesting. Yeah, see that. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm just like, this is not my lifetime. This is never going to happen in my lifetime. I mean, the majority of the world fucking speaks Spanish. So it's like, what you think they're all just going to like stop using masculine, feminine? I mean, like, why do we call them masculine, feminine? It's not really about that, right? Because like you think of the, of a vestido, right? A dress. And usually we think, well, women wear dresses, right? But it's a masculine word. It doesn't fucking matter. Like it's not about like the gender of the word. It has to do with the gender of the person who wears the dress. Like, there
shouldn't be that.
Well, it's just not really, that's not really how they think about it. And honestly, unless you like went to school like I did, where I have like just nerdy fucking language shit drilled into my brain because I went to school for another language. Like if you're just a native speaker of a language, or if you happen to pick up another language through some other route, which is not education, like they don't even fucking think about it. This isn't like all the semantics and all of the little tiny details, the linguistics of it, just not even real. Like
it's straight over their head.
Yeah, like no one thinks about that shit.
Interesting.
They're like, oh, that's a masculino word and that's a femenina word. Like, no one fucking thinks about that. They just know the fucking words.
Is that more of like an American thing then, where we kind of like make that into an actual taboo thing, or is it like, obviously like Canadians aren't really that upset about like, oh, if some Spanish-speaking people come into the country and start using masculine and feminine adjectives, it's not going to be such a bad thing. But again, I just feel certain parts of America, or the cancel culture of America, kind of suppresses things that they don't understand. And this is one of those things where they're just like, well, shouldn't there be some changes in the Spanish language? And I'm just like, but you're talking about something that you don't truly understand about.
That's often the case with a lot of people who talk a lot.
Let me tell you about aliens.
Yes. Are you talking about the ones that live under the sandias? Because I've so looked into them.
So that's just one class of aliens.
Oh, I know.
I know quite a bit of races of aliens out there.
Oh my God, Angel, I can't wait because, I mean.
Telepathic.
Oh, hey. Like, have you been to the Cosmic Highway?
Oh my God. Okay, so I guess segueing off of that. This world is mysterious in itself already. So we can't even really understand what we have on this earth, because new species get discovered every day. Plant species, fish, and whatever. They get discovered and they're just like, oh, look, this is a bioluminescent flower, yet it still has characteristics of a shark. Or, we end up discovering these new and amazing things. So what's not to say that there is aliens out there? Because growing up, it's not taboo, but they're just like, that's hooey-fooey. That's hogwash, No one's really going to believe that. I mean, this is what you need to be paying attention to, not out there.
Right.
But what is out there?
I mean, I think, again, it kind of depends on the culture you grew up in, right?
How spiritual are you?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, me personally, or are you talking about people in general?
I guess you personally.
Personally, I have done some deep dives, my friend. Deep dives.
With like religions around the world, or what was your major religion growing up?
I was raised an atheist.
Oh, really?
Which is really unusual. I grew up in a very small town.
Lucky.
And I don't necessarily agree with lucky, actually.
They had me. They cut my penis, all right?
I know.
I was not ready for. I didn't even know.
No consent.
But
real.
But they brag about it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny because the Europeans don't do that, and they also claim all kinds of denominations of Christianity. So
interesting.
Yeah, the Europeans don't do that,
So growing up as an atheist, though, you already had this kind of like open mindset of what's out there.
Well, not necessarily. So the reason that I grew up as an atheist is because both of my parents were traumatized by religion as children. So they chose to raise us without it. And it was very unusual I grew up in a very small town where most of the people from there lived there. Like their parents were from there. Their fucking families were around. Their grandparents were from there. My parents were not from the tiny town I grew up in. My parents were both from like major areas, had traveled the fucking world, and like decided to raise their kids in a shit industrial town in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom is from Chicago. My dad is from Covington, Kentucky, which is just outside Cincinnati. It's on the Kentucky side of the river of Cincinnati. Cincinnati kind of spills into Kentucky.
Okay.
And so they both grew up in big areas. And then my dad was in the Navy, and my mom was married to him while he was in the Navy. So they traveled all over the place, you know, lived in Hawaii, all kinds of shit.
Damn.
So like, yeah. So then they like came back to the States, and they were like, let's raise our kids in this bumfuck town in Wisconsin, literally population 9,000. And it's like all the jobs are like industrial, you know?
Yeah.
So, everyone was Lutheran or Catholic, pretty much, you know, most of the folks that I grew up around. So it was like really uncommon for me to be a kid that didn't go to church. And as soon as like certain friends' parents found out that I didn't go to church, it was like Summer's not allowed at the house anymore kind of thing. You know, I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But I was fascinated from a super young age, like really, really little. From the time I was like about 7 probably, I was fascinated that people went to church. So I asked every single friend that I could if I could go to church with them on Sunday, and their parents were delighted, of course.
They're like, yes, we're saving a soul.
Totally.
We got that golden ticket.
Oh my goodness, my soul was saved so many times. And so I went to like Seventh-day Adventist church. And
Can we go to church?
I will go to church with you. I'm that girl. I've been to so many churches and I love it, and I'll still go to church.
Let's do it.
I'll still go to church. I will. I've been to Catholic church. I've been to Lutheran church. I've been to Jehovah's Witness church. I actually did quite a stint with Jehovah's. I've been to, I've been to the Church of Christ. So like, I just
Mormons?
No, that's one I haven't done, but I did have a very good friend in college who was a Mormon, and we would argue to like tooth and nail about shit, but we were such good friends. But he could not handle,
very adamant about the religion.
He could not handle homosexuality, and I was like,
really now?
But I was like, you know what? You're wrong. Like, but we're still friends. It's crazy.
So I love that you just brought that up. Again, segue. Sorry to take it this way. But there's a comedian in the comedy scene right now who's actually a Mormon. But not only is he a Mormon, he's a gay Mormon.
Oh, he's fucked.
He's trying so hard to find himself. But the religion of the Mormonism is... I feel so bad.
Dude, they send those kids to camps.
I'm just like...
to like ungay them. It's so crazy.
He unfortunately, his parents are a little more... They're cool with it. They're like, you're trying to develop yourself, but you really do need to try to find the real truth of light of the Mormonism.
And not be gay.
Yeah, you want your own planet, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so he's trying so hard, but yet he has these ambitions. Like, I just, you know, I'm gay. I feel like I'm gay.
I mean,
but that's so hard because the Mormon that you just described was just like,
no go.
No
go. But he was like, it didn't stop him from, you know, maybe being friends with someone who was gay.
Okay.
But nonetheless, he would still think that they were wrong and that they needed to be saved. And I mean, we just had like the most like vicious arguments sometimes. We were still like total buddies. But, you know, part of it was like, I love having really different friends in my life. I love having just eclectic everything in my life. So it's like, I'm not going to write this kid off because he disagrees and thinks that homosexuality is wrong and like a choice and it's fucked up. I was like, no, I'm going to keep going with this guy's perspective because I can tell that he's like, you know, really honestly like indoctrinated. So it's like, but who's to say who is and who isn't, you know? I mean, was I indoctrinated into atheism? I don't know. Like my parents were not, we didn't talk about it basically. It was just like, I remember this little pin that was like on my mom's desk that like I just like wanted to steal from her, which was religion is organized insanity is what that pin said. And I was like that was like a little thing in my life that like I grew up knowing about. But like both my folks were traumatized by religion in their different ways, you know? Yeah. And so, but me growing up as an atheist, like, and being so interested in what people were doing religiously, but also having a really hard time in the sense that, you know, being shunned sometimes by my community because my parents didn't take me to fucking church. Like, you know, like what choice do I have in that, you know? So, but being kind of shunned for it a bit. But then also really what kind of sucked about it, honestly, and it's probably not as bad as being like whipped as a Catholic kid, but like my parents just didn't talk about it. It's not like atheists, you know, or agnostics today, or people who are just like, yeah, like we can discuss it. And like, are you interested? Like, I'll have that discussion with you. My parents were just like, super anti, and we don't talk about it, and like don't bring it up. Like we don't talk about it.
Okay, so even if you were curious, it would kind of just be like, we just don't believe in that. No,
kibosh. Like yeah, like it's fucked, and like but they didn't like stop me from going to my friends' churches. They weren't like that vicious or anything. They were just like, whatever. Like we don't care. They just didn't want to have the conversation at all.
Interesting.
Like don't bring it up. We're not talking about it. Like there's nothing to say kind of thing. But I think that's part of what led me to anthropology, because I was just so curious, so fascinated. And I don't consider myself an atheist. But I mean, I lived in Taos.
Right. So I mean, half of the requirements are already there.
I had a moment when I was on a lift at Angel Fire. I was learning to snowboard again at an older age. Learning to snowboard when you're like 22, 23, hard.
It's not
okay,
the best, yeah.
But I did it. Okay, and I did learn. I can butter and rip a little. Okay,
yeah.
But like I can no steeps. Mm-mm.
No jump either.
No, well, little tiny ones.
Like a little hill.
Oh, babies. Ooh, booms. Yeah, but like I really just like buttering around. But I learned to snowboard, and I was on that lift, and I had just like I'd only been in New Mexico for like a couple years, like not even. And I was on that lift, and I had this like epiphany, and I was like, I know why I moved here. I moved here to find God.
I like that.
That happened to me.
That's crazy though too, because did that kind of make you think, who is God now?
I got really obsessed.
Because that's one thing that I've always been fascinated about too, is like the aspect of every different religion's form of God, or what it is. And it's just like, wow, sometimes you guys are all just explaining the same thing in a very broad sense of like, oh, this is different, that's different. I kind of feel that way with religion and like Christianity and Catholicism, Mormons. All of them are all just subgenres of the same thing. Denomination. And why would that be a thing where they're just like, oh, well, unfortunately, I want to have 3 wives, so I'm going to make sure that's added in there. Or like the Jehovah's, they don't celebrate any like religious holidays or anything, right? Like Christmas or birthdays
holidays.
Or stuff like that.
No holidays.
Because I had a friend whose grandparents were Jehovah.
Yeah.
And he told me the coolest thing ever. Did you know that Jehovah's have another word for God?
Yahweh.
Is it really?
Do you have another one?
I thought it was so it's not a word, it's more like a term.
Right, because it can't be spoken, basically.
Yeah.
It's unspeakable.
And like every time they would mention it, they would say causes to become. They said that that's how you would describe God, is like causes to become. So me, with my brain, started a band with the name Causes to Become.
That's a damn good metal band name.
You know what's so great about it too is like I was literally calling myself God on stage.
Oh man. I mean, your name is Angel.
Yeah.
Angel. And that is pretty amazing.
It was so much fun.
It kind of comes along almost with as much clout as my name. I mean, when you have a special name.
Summer?
Yeah. It kind of, they're special names. Angel and Summer are special names.
Explain. Like, okay.
Not a lot of people have those names.
Okay.
Right? How many Angels do you know?
A lot of females.
Okay, I have a cousin named Angel.
Yes.
She's a female.
Yeah, so
but her real name is actually something else, and I can't even fucking remember what.
Angelicalita or something?
I don't know if it's Angelicalita, but I forget actually. But her name is Angel. I have one female cousin named Angel. I've met, but I've also traveled quite a bit in Latin America, and you meet a lot more males named Angel.
Yeah, my old roommate, who was from Taos, was actually named Angel as well.
Sure.
And he was my, as we like to say in poker terms, tocayo.
Tocayo, what is that?
A pair of same face cards. So the jack or the king, if you have the same pair next to him, that's his tocayo.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so we would always be like, hey, ¿cómo está mi tocayo?
Tocayo, I like that. That's a fun nickname.
And my dad was so into like gambling and like being like a Mexican with his friends. They would like, sit in the lawn and just play cards and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But he gave everybody nicknames growing up.
Love that.
So when I grew up, my nickname was Guapetas.
What does Guapetas mean?
A handsome brat.
Excellent.
It was horrible.
Oh, I think it's adorable.
Because like every time like my dad would call me, he's like, "Ándale, Guapetas, ven para acá."
Oh God. I love that.
And I was just like, I never knew what it meant until I asked him when I was like maybe like 17.
Oh boy.
I was like, what does that even mean? He's like, you're a very handsome asshole.
Oh my God, I love that. I've never heard that word, guapetas. That sounds like so norteño though. I mean, was he like really into being a Mexican or a norteño?
So my dad is from Mexico City.
Oh wow.
He is a Mexican.
Nice.
My mom is from northern New Mexico.
She's the norteña.
She's the Chicana.
Uh-huh.
So this is what happened. It's a horrible story.
Excellent.
So my mom and dad started dating, but my dad was an illegal alien.
Uh-huh.
So he did not tell my mom his real name.
Oh.
He told her that his name was Angel.
Oh my goodness.
Angel.
Oh my.
So they had fun for a couple months or whatever. And he ended up getting my mom pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the whole time he could have said something.
He could have.
He never said his real name.
Of course not.
She believed that his name was Angel. And he went with it. He was like, well, I don't want to get deported or anything. So,
what a macho fucker.
So he literally, okay, this is the sad part about my dad too. It's like, I love him to death. I learned so much from him, but he was never really like the dad figure. Like,
Sure.
He never talked to me about sex. He never talked to me about drugs. He never told me my name was a lie. My mom.
I mean, that's generational, I think, too, right? With especially a lot of men, I feel like that's generational.
Yeah, so I didn't find out any of this. And so when I was being born, my dad didn't even go to the hospital. He was so freaked out. He's like,
he was afraid because he was an alien. Oh
yeah,
my God.
he didn't go. He didn't do anything like that. So when my mom had the kid, the doctor was like, what would you like to name your son? And she's like, I want to name him after his dad.
Oh my God.
And his name is Angel.
Oh my God.
So I was named after my dad. But then literally the next day, my dad came to the hospital, saw me, and my mom told the story like, oh, he's George's kid, and I named him after you. And my dad is like, mic drop. And he told her, like, that's not my name. My name is actually Ilyasar Sanchez. And that could have been me. I could have been Mr. Ilyasar Sanchez.
Ilyasar? What a name.
It's so beautiful.
It is.
I wish I had it.
Ilyasar.
It's so, like...
Do you have a middle name?
It's horrible. My middle name is Roberto.
Roberto.
It has to have an O because that's what my mom says. She's like, if it's just Robert, then you're not as exotic as you would be with an O.
No, you're Hispanic. My dad's name is Robert. Not as exotic at all.
Oh, really?
Roberto.
So my name is Angel Roberto Lopez.
That's a great name.
But I should have been Ilyasar Garcia Sanchez.
I've never met anyone named Ilyasar. What a beautiful name.
Really?
Yeah, have you met other people named Ilyasar?
My dad said that he had a few friends growing up that had that name, that had the name Ilyasar. But I guess it's some like biblical name from something super far away. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking.
We should look it up. We should know. So fascinating.
Oh man, I'm gonna be like, hey dad, I totally found out what your name is, Dick.
Oh God, that's a cool name though. Ilyasar. What a great story. Honestly, I think that's a really great life story, and I think Angel is a really wonderful name too.
Because I always joke about it too, where I'm just like, my mom totally wanted to name me after a girl.
No, Angel is such a common name for men in Latin America. I've met in Latin America, I never meet a girl named Angel. Never. And I've traveled to quite a few countries in Latin America. Never met a female named Angel. I've only met men named Angel. Yeah, that's an American thing. So when you meet people, like when I met you, you told me your name was Angel. But do you typically say my name is Angel, or do you say Angel?
I usually always say Angel.
Okay.
Because the problem when I was growing up is like I would tell people like, hey, my name's Angel. And they're like, did you just say Angel? And I was like, no, it's Angel. Angel? And they never really got that.
Yeah, but you're from New Mexico. I don't get it. Like, what? People don't get it?
You would be surprised.
I know how many people don't speak Spanish here. I'm totally aware.
Yeah, and that kind of blew me away, too, is because, like,
blew me away, dude. When I moved down here, I was like, closest thing to Latin America. It's okay, yeah. Summer, that you're not going to live in Latin America for the rest of your life.
You're close.
You're close, girl. And then I was like, nope.
Hola.
Yeah, no.
What did you just say?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really like when people say my name. It's not that I hate it or anything, but again, like my name has so much history to it that I just don't like it as much as I wish I did. Like I wish it was more I wish there was more to it, but like again,
I think there's a lot. I think it's great, but I mean, this is me and my outside perspective, like coming in being like, damn, good story, good name, like all of this is really, really stellar.
I guess I can, like, if I wanted to make a Lifetime movie, it'd be dope. Like, my name was based on a lie.
I mean, it could be even worse than Lifetime, but you know that would.
Gee, my 50 TV, here I come.
I used to really hate my name because it ends in the sound and I thought that was ugly sounding. And you know, most girls that you meet, their names end in A. And like that's like most girls, right? Like, you know, Sarah or Melissa or you know, just like yeah, or E, like Emily, like most names end in like E or for girls. So I hated that my name ended in Okay. Like it sounded ugly and really like German sounding or something.
Did they does your name kind of have like a why they named you Summer?
I mean, I was born in the summertime. My birthday's next Monday. Hot damn. And my parents did not agree on a name. They named me basically the day I, you know, was born was when I got my name. They didn't choose it ahead of time because my dad wanted to name me Elizabeth and my mom wanted to name me Julie.
You know what they should have went with? Eliza Jewel.
Eliza Jewel. You know, today that's what they would do. They would go with Eliza Jewel. If you were in 2021 naming a baby, you'd go with Eliza Jewel.
Yeah, mostly millennials and Gen Z mix the father's and mother's name together to put it together.
Yeah, I've met a few of those for sure.
I'm gonna start to do that now and be like, okay, if we had a kid and we put them both together, guess what? Sumler.
So I'm like, oh, honestly, I don't even know if we could make it pretty.
There is no way to make Summer and Angel.
No.
See,
Aingesome? No, I can't. No, it's all horrible.
Ainer.
Summel. None of it's gonna good. None of it's gonna be good.
I love it. My next guest tomorrow is Tyler Lovely, so we're gonna have some fun with that name.
Oh, that's adorable.
He's good. He's a local stand-up comedian as well. So
fun.
Give him a goog, everybody. Give him a goog. Let's go to the comment section and see what's going on right away. Jeremy Chavis is here. What's up, man? He says, I'd rather watch MuseMe TV than watch anything on Netflix. I think you're lying, but I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Jeremy Chavis is cool. He's been on this podcast a few times too. So,
nice.
It's always good to have interaction. We were talking about aliens.
Oh, yeah.
We totally got sidetracked on that.
Yeah, well, that happens, yeah.
Okay, so this is what I know. There's a group of aliens known as the Greys. Mm-hmm. Pretty basic. Everyone has heard of them.
Sure.
Now it gets a little more in depth when I've heard of an alien group called the Reptilians. Mm-hmm. That's weird because they say that they've been here forever and they're still here, shape-shifting among us.
Right, and living beneath the surface of the earth.
Really?
Well, I've heard that quite a bit.
Okay. Well, they're what I've heard is that they're actually in major political positions.
Like in a they live kind of way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super aware of conspiracy theories because, again, I lived in Taos.
Alex Jones, baby.
Yeah.
Gay frogs.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've seen it all. And I have to say that I was pretty like up in it for some time. Yeah. Like I was up in it for sure in my little like tinfoil hat in Taos. Absolutely.
What changed or what made it not as readily in your brain, like you're just like, this is taking over the world?
You know, it felt doomy. I was tired of the doom, for real. Felt really fucking doomy. Kind of just brings me back to like the really do you want to live in the dark ages kind of comment. Okay. Where it's just like, I just feel like all the conspiracy theorists that I know, and like, let me tell you, I was in a relationship with one for like 8 years. Like, long fucking time to be with somebody.
Was he part of the Illuminati?
Not that I know of, no. But an epic conspiracy theorist, libertarian, and
a Freemason.
No.
I'm trying to crack the code here.
I mean, we researched these things a lot together. We were like both super into it, and we watched like hordes of documentaries and
Did you ever think he was just trying to stray you away from his actual truth? He's just like, this is what's really going on.
You know,
so dumb.
I didn't ever think that about him. And you know, honestly, as far as I know, like this is still his way of being and like way of thinking. And like we're still in contact, you know, we're like friends, but we don't really speak, you know, a lot. And it's not because of animosity. It's just like, yeah, life changes.
Yeah,
but
people
like,
grow.
Yeah, people change, you know. But like, You know, it was fucking doomy, dude. It was just like, really, like, for one, I think you're giving like too much credit in a lot of ways to like the powers that be. Like, the level of organization that it would take to pull some of this shit off, I think is like, have you like ever like watched C-SPAN? Like, I'm telling you right now, have you ever seriously like just fucking dove into politics and like really watch those fuckers?
So the only time I ever do that is just to see if they're gonna blink sideways. That's all I try. But they have some of the most poker faces ever that I've ever like. Yeah. I'm just like, this guy is not human.
Well, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've watched all the videos where it looks like they're like blinking and like they have more than one eyelid, and you know, yeah, no, and I like was super into like all of the false flag events and like the faked shootings and all kinds of shit. Oh yeah. Oh, deep dive right here. Deep dive. Years and years of deep dive.
But literally it's just like, I don't want to worry about doom.
What are you going to do with it? Like, what are you going to do with that information in the end?
If a reptilian were to, I guess, reveal itself, wouldn't that trump, or at least a lot of like major religions aspects of life just be thrown out the door?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't.
Why is that?
Because have you already seen all of the, like, there's been so many incredible things that have happened. There's so many miracles to witness. Like, I have had so many God moments in my life. Like, so many fucking God moments. I mean, take some hallucinogens sometime, right? Like, come on, you know? I mean, and I've done it without hallucinogens and had, like, I'm, like, really into shamanic journeying and, like, I mean, yeah, there's so many beings out there. Like, I intentionally, like, astral travel to, like, talk to people in the fucking universe.
Interesting.
That's real. It's totally real. And, like, also do I recognize that that's also, like, me, like, a part of me, and no one else will ever have that experience the way that I do, and they could then completely call me, like, a fake or a fraud or something, which it doesn't matter.
Or a prophet.
Hey, why not? You know? But, to, like, in the end, like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't... I think that it's futile. I think that it's futile and divisive, a lot of this shit. It really, like, it takes away from, I think, a lot of the importance of really the basic things in life that people need.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of privilege that comes along with it, too. Like, it really is. Like, I mean...
Yeah, I can totally see that, too. This example of Joe Rogan, where I'm pretty sure he knows so much more than the average human would ever know, just because of the clout of where he's at in his political stance right now. Like, he has a talk show. He has a bunch of people on that are just...
So many interesting... Yeah, I mean, I love Joe Rogan's podcast.
But you can just imagine...
Many amazing people he interviews.
What does he say after? Like, I've heard it so many times where there's like, we can't talk about this here, but...
Sure.
Let me tell you after the podcast.
Sure, yeah.
Is that, again, like a privilege thing where just certain amount of people will kind of have that knowledge?
Of course. How could it not be? I mean, like, we're safe. Are we not? Have you ever been unsafe, really, in your life?
No, not really.
Yeah, right?
Not like, too, where I'm like, oh, no, my door's going to get kicked in, or, oh, no.
Sure, I mean, we live in Albuquerque. It's a little sketch.
Yeah, but
like,
not, I get what you're saying.
Like, but, like, think about some of the places in the world. In fact... more than like we I think care to recognize, where like people aren't safe every day to day. Life isn't safe. Do you think they really have time to think about and talk about reptilians and conspiracy theories and like what kind of like control they can all be having over us and the media they live? You know, I mean, yeah, I know. I get it. I don't think it's totally wrong. I don't. But at the same time, what fucking privilege? Why don't we recognize that?
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that, like, is that privilege that is behind the curtain something that's hindering us from being a true human being?
You can be a true human being if you just decide to be.
But what is a true human being?
It's whatever you want to be.
So right now, if I can't see particles inside of my face right now, like neurons and protons, because they're going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've had those God moments without drugs.
But why isn't it the sense that I can't find that enlightened period or that enlightened moment to get there? Is it just because of the privilege that I'm not
a good question.
Privileged enough? Because I love the ideas of all these too. Because dude, space travel, being able to like multi-universe things, like. But
you can.
But see, that's the thing though, is that if I can, I just don't know how to.
Yeah, there's a bunch of books and all kinds of really. I mean, you taught yourself how to play a guitar.
But that's totally different.
Why?
Like a guitar has more of like like a muscle based kind of structure to learning a guitar.
It's still about practice. I taught myself how to do all this shit.
Interesting.
Because I was super fascinated. I read a ton of books on it, and like I listened to a bunch of different people like giving talks, and I just like was fascinated. And then I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced for years, like to become good at astral traveling. And it's like it turned into something that became like just, you know, honestly, even something I wanted to do more than live in this existence.
That sounds so crazy to me, though, because it sounds like it's almost like a cartoon niche. Like you're doing something that cartoon characters do.
I mean, sure. I mean, but anybody can do it, and people have done it for forever. Like there's so much documentation about it from all over the world. And
when you explain the astral projection of it, the only thing I'm thinking is that I get to see myself in third person.
Oh, no. I mean, oftentimes I don't see myself in third person. Like sometimes, I guess, but more often than not, I'm just like still embodied, but I'm in an astral body that is still mine.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you know, I haven't really paid like a ton of attention, I guess, to my astral body. It's like I'm focusing more on like seeking out other beings to talk to, and then also like the surroundings where I'm at, and like I have like particular like methods and modes of getting to different places, you know? And so it's like I'm really focused on like how I get to the place that I want to go to, and then once I'm in that place, like really really firming up that visual around me so that I feel like I can just more be present in that location. So like I get really focused on what it looks like around me so that I can stay there, because astral traveling is like, it takes practice. So it's like you can get pulled out of it really quickly and easily if you're not focused on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard of different stuff like this that kind of blows me away. It's just like, it's all the projection of what you're thinking in your head to get to that next level.
Sure.
So, I think I was like maybe like 16, but I ended up picking up a Wiccan book one time.
Oh yeah.
And I just was reading it or whatever. They had this suggestion of how to like turn into an animal that you really wanted to be, which was kind of crazy to me because like it first started off with you need to learn how to meditate first.
Correct.
So that took forever. I honestly feel like I still don't feel like I know how to meditate correctly.
I mean, correct according to who?
But there was this one time where I felt that meditation that I got into was mind blowing. It felt like time went so fast. It just like where I was at, it blew me away. So the book told me to try to meditate, and some of the key meditations is to close your eyes, picture a circle. Not only are you picturing the circle, picture the circle as a white dot, and then try to turn that white dot into like a pie chart that is like a clock. And you can control where that clock stops, goes as far. Once you start getting that, then you're actually starting to build more of like this brain sense of being able to do this stuff. That blew me away, and I tried it for a while, and I was like, I think I'm getting it. So finally, the next step is to turn that circle into an actual physical object. So I'm thinking I want to turn it into an apple. And I'm like trying, I'm like, this has to happen, but I've never gotten to that next state.
It sounds like maybe then you should try a different method and see how it works.
But I wouldn't know how.
But there's books.
But like, okay, so this book just literally says, close your eyes, try not to think of anything.
No, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. That doesn't work for me. One of my favorite books that I have practiced a lot of meditations from is called the Pleiadian Workbook. Pleiadian. You just said Pleiadian?
Hey. Oh my God, that's another alien race that I've heard of before.
That's correct. Light workers.
Okay, here's the crazy thing though.
Yeah.
This is conspiracy theorist. So, can you describe a Pleiadian alien to me?
I'm not sure that I've ever met a Pleiadian.
But like their descriptions of like media, you know, how they proceed. Like they're just like, hey, this is what a Pleiadian looks like.
They're like the caretakers, light workers, educators of humans on Earth. And they like want what is best for humanity. And they like kind of like take care of us and block us from some of the other more like negative alien races that are trying to perhaps enslave us or have negative effects upon us.
But what do they look like?
That's a good question.
I'll describe what I think they look like.
Okay, sure.
Or what they've told me, what I've seen.
Yeah.
But a Pleiadian, as far as I know, is almost human-like.
Mm-hmm.
They look like us. Mm-hmm. The only difference is that they're blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
Sure. There's kind of that Anunnaki sort of, but they're not Anunnaki. But that's typically what I hear about of the Anunnaki looking like, is they look like, you know, basically people from like Sweden.
Really?
Like, yeah, I mean, just like super tall, very light-skinned, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people.
I thought
which is a little creepy and Aryan race, isn't it? I mean, like, it kind of creeps me out, honestly, when it's described like that.
That's what I kind of wanted to throw that out there, is that there was a conspiracy theory that said Hitler had a premonition of the Pleiadians coming to him, and they were like, this is the master race, this is...
right, which is why, honestly, a lot of conspiracy theorists I know are really fucking racist, if you ask me. They are. I'm telling you straight up. My ex-boyfriend was a racist, sexist fuck.
That's crazy to think about, too, because, like, if that was the case, if, like, you know, oh, it's based off of what an alien told him, like, then if that was the case, half of society would have gone into this rampage of, like, hey, I need to be the leader because the blues are talking to me. That's an alien race as well.
It is.
It is. You never heard of the blues?
I've met the blue.
What?
I have a blue spirit guide.
Interesting. So I heard a story. I don't know if it's true or not, but one of our presidents was actually able to meet one of the blues.
I've heard of that. Isn't that JFK? Nixon.
Yeah. But he was supposedly, he was too freaked out, and he felt that they were going to take nuclear launch code secrets from him, so he never personally met with them.
I don't think I believe any of that story.
At all?
Not really.
I mean, it makes sense, but...
I mean, I guess, but it just seems like it's you can meet any of these beings. You can go out there and do this. Like, people make it seem like it's so inaccessible, or like there's these like little like alien beings running around on the planet and they're all just hiding from you, or I don't know. I think it's like, that's what I don't like about the conspiracy theory like cult. Like, and I'm into cults, dude. Like, I'm super into cults. I am like podcast, book, and like documentary nerd about cults.
Okay.
I mean, like, to the point that my sister was like, don't join a cult. And I was like, okay, but that one time that I went to the tantra community doesn't count.
It was almost cult-like.
It was a cult.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, come on. Cult is the root word of culture. Like, it's fascinating shit, dude. Like, people intentionally find community with like-minded people. That is a cult. Like, it's nothing more than that, really. You know, like, when we have these negative connotations that come along with the word cult, because we do, well, then that's what it is. But like, straight up, like, human beings find community with like-minded people, and then they gather and they make families together, and they make neighborhoods and they make towns together. Nice. This is a thing that happens, is it not?
I love how that word too is so negative, but it just sounds like, you know, everyone put together.
Cult is the root word of culture. Like, it's not that fucking freaky. But there's some freaky shit out there when people get together. But typically, guess what's freaky about it? When there's like one or two leaders that are fucking freaks and that are taking advantage of people and doing like dirty, horrible shit. Like,
so, and then at that sense, it's not more of like a cult mentality. It's more like a
dictatorship. Yeah. Fascinating.
Some guy taking over everything.
Fascinating. Right?
So much for culture.
It's not a community anymore at that point. Like, I mean, if you ask me, it's not, you know. But I think that people like it's unfortunate that it's gotten to this point where we can't recognize some of the validity within, I think, conspiracy theory information, because there's so much shit that we already know to be true that would be lumped into that. For instance, Pearl Harbor. Like, we all know that this was an event that was known about by the higher-ups of the military and our own government before it happened. Kind
of like those, let it happen so we can actually justify our sins.
Exactly. Yeah. They let it happen. And what did they do? They evacuated 50% of the people that were there at that base so that fewer people would die. But they knew it was coming. They had intercepted communication and known that that was coming. And they did not stop it, because what did it do? Well, it allowed for another move in the play of the game that they were playing.
That's scary to think about, because at that point, is just this whole world a giant chessboard for them?
I mean, who's them? I mean, are we talking about
the oligarchy elite?
Sure, yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
of course it is.
So, like, I might be getting a little more into in depth, like, who are these players? But obviously it's world powers.
Yeah, there are a very small percentage. There's very few people in this world who have all the money. I'm pretty sure we all know that and agree upon it.
Yeah.
And like, why would we think that they don't control pretty much everything that happens?
The scary part that I find is that if they do end up working to kind of turn this more into a world kind of thing, because obviously right now, like America is always trying to be better or worse than China.
Sure.
But in the background, is there handshakes going on? Is there like, hey, dude,
sure,
we're both kind of like in the same boat with the same people. Let's just kind of tug the strings together how it's supposed to be done, and we'll have a new world order in no time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's really what it is. I mean, the countries that are most demonized to us as Americans are countries who refuse the central banking system, the World Bank and the IMF.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if we're going to dive in, I'm telling you, I dove for a long time. Like, I know about some of this shit.
That's what I love.
Like, yeah, it is. There's definitely reality to a lot of it. And it's unfortunate where we're at, I think, in this point in time, because it's turned into like such a like shitty, like, brawl between people who really, but this is the point, right? It comes down to like, oh, the divide and conquer, and this is the point, like, is to keep us separated and like not agreeing with one another. And it's unfortunate because like what's happened is really now we're equating like conspiracy theorists with Trumpers, which sucks ass.
Yeah.
Pretty terrible, but that's what it's been equated with at this point.
Or even little things like that, like, hey, I totally was against everything Trump did, but hey, I'm pretty glad that he got out of office faster than he did. Oh, so you're actually in favor of some of the stuff. I was like, wait, this is confusing in itself, but yet you're trying to pick a fight with me for something else that has nothing going on. And I feel like that happens a lot with like the structure of what our society is now. Is like, maybe I am a left-wing kind of person, but for whatever reason, if I was just like, I want to make sure that my parents have a good job or whatever, you're so right, that's ridiculous, you have to make sure it's for the people, not for your family.
Sure.
And that's so hard to deal with, because then it brings like these conversations down where it's just like, oh, well, I'm trying to find the difference between culture and cult, but yet again, you're calling me a Trump supporter. It's crazy.
Well, I think we all know, as South Park so eloquently put it many, many moons ago, that we're all choosing between a douchebag and a turd sandwich.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think we all know that, don't we? Like, the people who don't know that, I'm just like, I don't know who they are. Like, I'm pretty sure all of us, even if we chose one to support or we chose, whatever, like, to not be a part of it, it's like, I think that we're all just like, well, yeah, this fucking blows, but here's where we're at. And like, this is at least like a small percentage better than this other thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of why like I like astral traveling so much, to tell you the truth, is like because there's so much more reality out there than there is like in the menial dealings of all of this hypocrisy.
I hate you. Because it sounds like I can never achieve this.
Yeah, just go. Okay, for one, I really suggest the Pleiadian Workbook. It's really a delightful book. It's been one of my favorite meditation books. And I sucked at meditating. Also, I don't sit to meditate. I cannot sit. I have to lay down. I often fall asleep, and I think that's just fine. I do it how I fucking want to. And I've read a lot of different like books and perspectives on it, and I've read some things that tell me I'm doing it wrong, and I don't care. So like, I think there's a lot of different ways of going about it, and there's a lot of different traditions in it. I got really interested too in the what is considered the American tradition. So that would be like North and Central and South American native traditions, which are pretty related and similar in a lot of ways. And that has a lot to do with like shamanic journeying stuff that I've done, but also you find that in other parts of the world, like in parts of Asia, and where people go into trance. And, especially medicine people will go into trance, and they go to speak to guides and passed on elders and ancestors in order for them to gather information to give to their communities,
Okay.
And a lot of times it'll be specific, like it's always specific, honestly. Like that's a part of doing this, is you go in with intention. Intention is really important. Like if you're willy-nilly and you're just like, I just want to get out there,
I just want to try it.
Yeah, no, it's really about the intention. It's super, super about the intention. You're setting the intention beforehand. So one of my favorite shamanic journey people that I have learned a lot from also is Sandra Ingerman. She's really interesting and has studied from cultures all over the world and teaches different courses and whatnot, but has written a lot of books on shamanic journeying. And it's not to say that necessarily it is meditation, but meditation is like a precursor, or if not a part of it. Like, I think that we can kind of combine these concepts more than we typically do. And meditation to me is not necessarily just like a complete like blank clearing of the mind. But I could be wrong. Like, you know, like I don't have all the answers.
I've honestly felt like I've gotten into a meditative state by just playing guitar.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I always do in the morning is that I know that I have to go to work in like 20 minutes. So I'll play guitar, but that 20 minutes drags on like so long. I'm just like, this is awesome, because I know that it's my perspective of how time is being flowed, but yet with what's going on with the vibration, what's going on with my feelings, what's going on with my mental, like what I'm thinking at that one time, am I really slowing down time?
Oh, I think we have total control over time.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't see why not. I feel like I've done it lots. Also, trance is typically done through drums and rattles. You know, it's done through vibration and sound.
Vibration, yeah. That's the key
Vibration
word.
and sound,
Yeah,
absolutely. Vibration. Like, that's a huge part of, like, when I do, shamanic journeying or astral traveling, I listen to a drumming soundtrack in order to go, because it helps me go there. Yeah, I listen to a drum. That's the thing, is like meditation in silence does not work for me. It just doesn't. But, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying I'm right.
And it's just like, please do not take this as medical information now.
Yeah, no, definitely don't. I mean, I have had some really successful moments where I haven't necessarily been listening to like drums or rattles or whatever, but like
Most
typically,
of the time, yeah.
But yeah, typically drums especially really do it for me. So like and I've always loved drums. I mean, I played them in school, like when I was a kid. I was in band and drums were my thing. Like, that's what I did.
And you can see it through all of history, how they use an instrument to like travel, and that it's mostly a drum. You see drums a lot.
Drums are, yeah. Well, I mean, you get this really basic, movement of like, it's just really powerful. It's potent. Can I just say, one of my favorite things to do is on Sunday, I tune into 89.9 KUNM, and I love that they have the Singing Wire program on there, because they play all like Native American music. Okay. And it's so amazing, especially, I'll say it right now, sometimes if you're hungover, it's like even better, because you just like get in your car, it's like noon, and you're just like burrito, and
just
like
vibing.
And you turn on 89.9 and it's just like, and it's like amazing. And you're just like, boom, boom, like all these incredible drums going. And you're just like, oh my God, like these people knew what was up.
You're just like, holy shit, my blood is going faster.
I'm just like processing everything out,
Is
like
it 2 degrees warmer right now?
And I'm just like, everything is perfection. Like it's fast. It's really fucking good stuff. It really is. Yeah.
That's what I love the best about music, is like, it's just literally so universal. Like, everybody loves it.
Everybody makes it.
No matter where. Like, one of my biggest things that I've always wanted to do is go to Japan with my guitar, because supposedly I'm like the bee's knees there if I had my guitar.
Bee's knees? You better bring a leather jacket and a cute little like bomber.
And you know what I'm gonna say?
A little motorcycle too.
Hey.
They're gonna love it.
Yeah, but they respect musicians out of everywhere in the world, and that's what blows me away too. Like, you can go anywhere with your instrument and somebody's gonna appreciate it, and more appreciation comes from other countries, because they have that solidarity of just like playing that instrument. Like, how many people in the United States out of my friends play an instrument is very little. But if I go to another country where like everyone in the 7th grade knows how to play guitar.
Wow, interesting.
And that's a thing where I'm just like, okay, your aspect of teaching them this is pretty much criteria of where it's supposed to be. And here it's more of like, well, if you don't want to take a Spanish credit, then you can take band if you want. So they of like, they hinder the potential of what the music can really bring to somebody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I've had that problem growing up my whole life, because I'm just like, why wasn't I a band nerd when I grew up? Or why wasn't I into like any of the band stuff? Because it wasn't suited for me. They weren't trying to enhance my musical knowledge. It was just like, this is a class you have to take. You have to play these songs. and learn them this way, and that's it. When I first learned guitar, it was just like ding, 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 random notes, random noises. But that was more intriguing to me than trying to make noises that they wanted me to make.
Sure.
And that, again, I feel like a lot of people lose out on that love for being a musician, especially because so many people are like, oh, yeah, I took band in 7th grade, or oh, yeah, I took band in middle school. Did any of that come back? Like, did you, any of it, like, kind of, like, stick with you? Or did you want to kind of keep playing it? No, I did it because I had to. And I'm just like, but music is so amazing.
It is.
So, like, that just, it blows me away. I'm just like, how did we not want to learn more about this? And in other countries, it's more of like this is what you should learn to enhance your better understanding of life.
Yeah, which is absolutely true. And I guess that comes down to a cultural thing in our country. And why is that?
We're the only culture that has poverty and obese people at the same time with the same, like, genre.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, like fat people and...
I know what you're saying, and I don't think that's true.
Interesting.
Mexico City is the most obese city in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I recently went there, and I was like everyone looked like me. Like a little skinny little Mexican. And that's why I was like...
Interesting.
I was like, holy shit, like, obviously you guys aren't going to, like, the McDonald's, or you guys are like eating the food that you guys got from here, or, like, you know, the food market or something.
More people prepare food at home in a lot of other countries,
and that's
for
why,
sure.
Yeah, and that's why I feel our advantage.
I've definitely seen obesity in other places, but I don't know. I feel like I'm a little skewed because, like, I live in New Mexico, and I feel like it's a little different here. Like, have you ever been to the South?
Like Tennessee or anything like that? I have not.
Okay, because it's big.
Really?
like for real. Like it really is. Like, honestly, people here are pretty slender for the most part. Like, are just pretty average, normal size. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Like,
but more, because you've seen it too, like, or I've seen it where you go up north more and it's just like, holy shit, how's this guy 6'5" and he weighs like 200 pounds?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh yeah, we're the same age. Like, what? That's no sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, where I grew up, people are definitely bigger. I mean, not only just taller, but it's like, because obviously different heritage, you know. But, like, yeah, people are definitely bigger. And, yeah, too, I mean, you know, my dad's from the South, and, like, I've spent quite a bit of time there. It's big.
It's a big place.
People are big. Like, it's, yeah. I mean, at least in my experience, I don't know. Like, it just seems more so than it is where I live. But I don't know. Worldwide. Good question. I haven't been all over the world at all. But I feel like, yeah, people are definitely probably more obese in our country than other places that I have been that I can think of.
Because they say, like, first world problem is having diabetes and getting what you want to eat at the same time. Yeah,
well, we eat but I don't know. They eat shit everywhere, dude. Like, everywhere I've been, like, traveling, it's so hard to find decent fucking food.
And you know what's crazy too is, like, even, like, famous people, like, there's this comedian, his name is Little Duval. Every time he goes to another country or another place, the only place he'll go to eat is McDonald's.
Oh, it's terrible.
Because he knows what it tastes like, and he knows what he's gonna get.
That's weird.
And he's just like, I'm not trying to venture off and die. I'm not trying. The way he explains it is stupid, and I'm totally butchering it. But
he's funny. Yeah. Is he telling the truth, or is it just a shtick? I mean,
at this point, I feel like he's telling the truth, because when I was younger, I was such a picky eater. Like, it took me so long to get to the tongue that I have now, where I'm just like, I'll try it. If I don't like it, at least I tried it. But growing up, literally, it was like, no. And my mom...
You didn't even have a McDonald's.
What do you mean?
You grew up in Penasco.
No, but I mean,
there's no fast food there.
I mean, you know, we're going to Taos, we're going to Espanola.
Did you go there all the time? What did you fucking eat?
Not all the time. Oh, obviously nothing. If you see how big I am.
For real though, like, did your mom make food or?
Yeah, they so my grandpa was great down there too, because he had his own garden. He was, you know, doing the whole. Yeah. I'm like, he even went hunting for elk and stuff. So they did all that stuff, but there was still the laziness of the American culture, where just like, hey, we can buy 12 pizzas and they can still be in the freezer.
Oh sure, yeah, totally.
But then there's all that, like, there's so much preservatives in it. There's, like, not enough nutrients. Like,
I know, yeah.
And that kind of, again, hinders, like, well, I'm not growing to my potential, because, like, it's easier to do this, I guess.
So basically, pizza, elk, and McDonald's was what
Pinto beans. My grandpa really loved pinto beans.
Pinto beans. What did he do with them?
My dad, my grandpa.
You just eat them out of the can? I don't think so.
No, like a crock pot.
Like he did them from dry beans.
Yeah, dry beans. I wish they would have grown them.
Did them real, made them real.
Yeah, that would have been cool to learn too.
Yeah. Was there like lard and like bacon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Salted pork.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice little chunks of it.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's good.
But when I was younger, I didn't like that much.
Oh man.
Like they would have spinach and carrots on the side, and then the beans and like meat, and I'd just be like, oh, let me get beans and meat, and I didn't really understand everything.
I didn't have a choice.
Really?
Yeah, no.
That's actually good though.
I know.
Because my mom was just like, oh, have whatever you want, and then I'm just like,
no choice. I didn't have a choice. It was like you eat what you're given, and if you don't, then you don't get more of the thing that you want.
See, and that's what's crazy to think about is I think my mom had that same aspect where she had to eat whatever she wanted.
Oh, I bet.
And she's like, well, I mean, I'm going to be a better parent than my mom was. I'm actually going to be like, you can have what you want as long as you're eating.
I can see coming at it that direction.
And that that happens to almost every generation.
Swings back and forth.
Yeah, where they're just like, maybe I should take those morals of like, oh, so if I had a kid, I would be like, I'm not gonna be where my mom was like, you pick and choose what you need to eat. You should eat everything because it's good for you.
Right.
There's no like middle ground that's
and it develops your taste for it, and then in a sense that you're just not such a picky kid, and then ending up with like health problems because you didn't eat anything green
with a butt worm or something.
I mean,
I have no idea why I can't gain weight, but there's a problem there.
Do you just have like scrawny humans in your family? Everyone's real
my grandpa,
skinny.
My mom, my dad wasn't that scrawny.
Like, do we call them delgados in your family? Is that what they call them, or flacos?
Flacos. Yeah, a bunch of flacos.
Yeah. For sure.
Horrible. But then again, you can see it now because I just go down my lineage. I'm like, oh yeah, my grandpa was skinny. Oh yeah, my great grandpa was skinny. Obviously, I'm gonna be skinny.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's genetics involved, absolutely.
But then my two younger brothers are actually like bigger than I am.
Well, that happens.
I'm sad.
Oh, I mean, I'm bigger than my older sister.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I always have been. Yeah.
I feel so bad. Like my brother just turned 19. But he outweighs me and is taller than me.
Yeah,
I'm just like, wow, I'm not going to pick on you anymore.
Oh, that's probably smart.
Yeah.
That's probably smart.
It's okay. That's the beauty of life, though. It's like I've always been able to kind of be like humorous and not be offensive to anybody.
Wow, good job. It sounds like, though, wait, as a stand-up, are you achieving that?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't know the difference now.
No.
Yeah.
Because of cancel culture.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird because I'm just like, here's an example. I had this joke. I totally ruined it. I didn't say it correctly. I know it was untasteful the way I said it, but it's funny if I can get the wording correctly.
Distasteful.
Very. I like it. You are a grammar Nazi.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help.
I love this. This is my personal tutor, guys. So, okay. The joke kind of is a premise on the N-word. Okay? So, I literally tell people where I'm just like, man, I don't know what's wrong with me, but black people always call me the N-word. They're always calling me the N-word. Look at this nobody. But so okay, I actually said it pretty decent there.
Well, you need timing though.
Yeah.
Better timing with that.
And that was like, again, me working on it. That's like maybe like the 8th or 12th time that I've said it.
Can you throw in a fuck with it?
Yeah, you probably can.
Like, look at this fucking nobody.
Yeah, look at this fucking nobody.
Just wondering if that.
Yeah. But I messed up the very first night I tried it on stage because I was nervous.
Of course.
There's already all kinds of butterflies. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to try a new joke. Here we go.
Your pits were sweaty.
So I was like, hey, I don't know about you guys, but me and black people are the same thing. Nobodies. And I ruined it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't word it the way it should have been worded.
No.
It was horrible. Look at you. You're just like so disappointed right now.
Well, I mean, you did ruin it. Poor thing. Yeah. I feel bad for you.
It was
I'm sorry.
Bad.
Well, did you intro with that?
No, it was like in the middle. So I had a good crowd.
You did. You already had some laughs built up.
And then I dropped that one, and they're just like
dropped it.
Just no silence, nothing. Everything's like that, and then just went back to like Pokemon.
Okay, so did the rest of the show
Yeah,
work out?
It
Did
kind of
you redeemed yourself
recovered.
somewhat? Okay,
Yeah.
you recovered.
I got
You
some
recovered.
recovery, but
Okay,
knowing
okay.
that is like
Yeah.
the economy of words really does matter.
Well, do you feel like black comedians get away with more controversial topics than other colored comedians?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Because they'd have to be just as tasteful as if it was someone like me trying to say that joke. Like maybe they do have the ability to use the word a little more, but then again it gets overplayed sometimes, and then you just kind of lose, oh well, he's just saying it for shock value or something.
Yeah, sure.
So it kind of does hinder, but you do have to be a good comic to use it
Sure.
in a sense.
Oh, I would think so.
But then again, so it all depends on who is there with the joke as well. So I have another joke with the N-word where I'm actually a binary code rapper. So I rap in ones and zeros.
Oh my.
That's it. And then I get the crowd going. Everyone starts clapping, and I just go off like 1011101011111111111. When I say 0, you say 1 0. What? And they go crazy. I get crowd interaction like no other comedian.
Nice.
And then I'm just like, at the end, I dropped like, I'm just like, hey guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but we just said the N-word. It's okay though. I used a soft 1, not a hard 0. And it depends though, because the guy that gave me that joke, because I was telling the joke, I was like 0111011. All right, have a good night. I never had that last tagline, the N-word. So the host of the show, he's a black comedian, and he came up, he's like, Angel, that was funny, but I'm pretty sure you said the N-word, man. You said it. Don't use a hard 1, use a soft 0. And then like he took me aside and he's like, hey man, you can use that. That's a funny joke if you use it right.
I mean, yeah, it is. I have a feeling there's a section of people that are just going to be like, what just happened?
There's a lot of them. But
yeah,
see,
I mean, because I had a moment where I was like, what just happened? And then I was like, okay, I think I get it.
But then again, yeah, I had the clarification and the like, hey, this is funny and I'm black. Say it. So that feels weird in itself too, because it's kind of like, hey, here's your
Yeah, you were given the go ahead.
not given the go ahead, but he's literally was saying like, hey, it's tasteful and it's funny.
Yeah.
I get it.
Here's your joke.
Yeah, you're not literally, and again, that's not even my joke. He said I can have it. He's like, your premise of the joke is funny. That end tag, take it and use it. And it just depends on who's there that night and who's in the crowd, because there's some nights where it hits like gold and other nights where I'm pretty racist. So comedy is so crazy because I say it the same way every time.
Do you feel like if you were a white guy that you could get away with that joke?
No.
Exactly.
But what makes it different because I'm Hispanic?
I mean, but isn't that fascinating?
It's kind of disappointing.
Is it? Tell me why.
Because like I feel like if I did want to make a joke about like a white person or something, they'd be like, but you're not white, or you're not, just because they oppressed you or you're getting oppressed by this culture, you shouldn't make fun of them. I'm just like, that makes no sense. Like everyone else does it to each other, but then cancel culture comes in and it's just like, if you're gonna,
I thought white people got made fun of all the time and it was always okay.
it's getting weird.
Is it getting weird?
It's getting weird.
I just thought as white people we just get made fun of all the time, and it's just what it is.
Because then now we kind of are putting you in this, like, I don't want to say like pedestal, but it's just like, oh, if a comedian that's white can make fun of all this stuff and they get away with it, then why can't any other minority of a comedian do that same thing?
Yeah.
Which is weird because like you would think it'd be the same thing.
What makes me white?
You?
Yeah.
Going off of just what I see is obviously just skin color.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of heritage in you. So why would that just be skin color?
Sure.
So I can't define why you look white. Because
I'm just curious.
I don't think you are white. Because my definition of white would be somebody that's boring. Somebody that doesn't have any taste to them at all.
Interesting.
But there's no white people out there. Like, nobody's white. Everyone has some kind of something about them that gives them something cool.
So white's not even like a race anymore? It's
to
just,
me.
It's just boring?
I honestly...
It's so interesting.
It's crazy to think about, too, because, like, some of the things that people thought were boring are coming to the mainstream as like, this is popular, this is amazing, like nerd stuff, nerd culture. Like,
Yeah.
comic books have never been cool.
I've been in nerd culture for my whole life.
Because we're cool.
Well, yeah.
But it was never cool.
Well, it was cool by the time I got to college. I was like, oh, it's sexy.
But you saw it, right? You see that transition?
I did. Because it wasn't sexy when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. And then when I was in college, I was like, oh, there's a bunch of us. We're cool. Okay.
But how did that work then? Like, did we all just, once we got to that age where we're just like, I don't give a fuck? Or is it just like all...
I don't know. It's like, I mean, it seemed like in college, like, I mean, there were still a lot of people who weren't like that. But it, like, hipsters were not, at least I didn't know what a hipster was until I went to college and became one. You know?
You're not a hipster.
I was.
You were a hipster?
Oh, for sure. And I think you still kind of am.
You're like, this shirt verifies
like,
hipster.
Know. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I got this like expensive t-shirt that my sister bought me. I got some like thrifted Adidas velvet leopard print that probably are really cool and I shouldn't wear as much as I do, but I don't care because I make them dirty. It's fine.
They're your everyday shoes?
Yeah, I thrifted these fuckers in Sacramento, California. See how cool I am?
Jesus.
Hipster.
See, I would have ordered that.
Oh, I've ordered some cool shit. I just ordered the Cardi B Reeboks.
The what?
Cardi B Reeboks.
Oh, the Reeboks.
Yeah, they're Reeboks with Cardi B on them.
Oh,
I
was like, did she just like give you another box that she's re-giving to everybody? Here's the Reeboks.
I know, she should have. She should have Reeboxed that shit for me. It would have been so cool. It'd been like, Cardi B's my boo.
That's so funny.
They're really fancy. I did order them. They're not that expensive, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I'll order the shit too. It's fine. Like, I accept. But yeah.
But
am I not a hipster? I thought I was still one. I'm just kind of old now, so it's like, do hipsters not exist anymore?
I don't know what a hipster is, to be honest.
Oh man.
I remember being in Taos a lot. That term was used a lot.
Yeah, because they were all the city kids that came in and moved to Taos.
But I mean, I didn't.
It's just like, people who are being ironic with like, because it's like ironic nerdness.
That's kind of like the term try hard. Have you heard that term?
Yeah, I have a sticker that says that on my fridge.
That's negative.
I know, I love it.
I love it too. It just means that I have more discipline than you. That's all that means.
Yeah, it's good.
But they turned it into a thing where it's like so negative. Like, hey, you can't be the best you can be. Try hard. Like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's very fucking
I don't
weird.
even understand what the kids are saying these days. I'm so lost.
Lit.
I understand lit. I actually have, I feel like I think it's a lit t-shirt technically. And it was a man's t-shirt, but I got it for like $10 and I cut it so that it would fit me. And it has it has a little embroidered flame on it. And I think it means lit.
Maybe.
Fuck if I know. I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore.
That sounds like somebody that's like, this is what I portray as lit.
Yeah, I mean, hello. Like, you're looking at the most geriatric Redditor on the planet. Like, I'm just like, have you seen my Reddit front page? It's geriatric as fuck.
You guys heard it here, folks. We're going to go look that shit up quick.
So I'm just like, puppies, like
That's so funny.
Gardens. Like, it's that fucking dorky for sure. And then all of a sudden I see like TikTok videos and I'm like, what are they doing?
That's the shit.
I know it's fascinating, but I don't have the TikTok. I don't have the Snapchat. I don't know what they're doing on it. And like my niece, 14, and the snapping. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What's this snapping thing?
I told her she was shallow. I did, straight up. Because she's going through all this shit. There's like 30 snaps or some shit, right? She opens them all and then closes them and doesn't even look at what the fuck.
Oh, just like.
Yeah, just tick, tick, tick. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, well, so they're not like left on red. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, so then what? Are you like sending them something back? Like you're sending the same thing to all those people? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, she's like, they do the same thing. I was like, they don't look at it? She's like, no. And I was like, that's fucking shallow. You know what? Y'all are shallow. I was like, I communicate with people for a reason.
See, those are some of those things that I didn't know that, the youth does.
The youth.
Yeah, I said
Can I tell you about the youth?
Let me tell you about this youth gone wild.
I just like, I'm just going to stick with my geriatric, like, Reddit puppies. You know what I mean?
But then again, Reddit's still always been there. Like, even new people that come into the internet scene, guess where they're going? One of the first places they'll see is Reddit. Yeah.
I thought we were all, like, over 30.
No.
I mean, okay, I know we're not, but, like, I just feel like Reddit is like such a
You're either there
my
for
generational thing.
You're either there for the memes or the Wall Street bets.
I mean, I follow both.
There you go.
I do. How much crypto you in? You
Oh,
in? You
I'm
in?
So in.
You in?
I have $4,000 in crypto.
Okay, not bad. Nice.
I'm a beast.
No Doge, right?
No.
Doge is worthless.
I started Doge and then I kind of lost some money, so I was just like, whatever. I mean, it's only $30.
I know that's fine. It's fun to experiment, but like Doge is Doge. So you know what's funny? I had $300 to my name in 2017. I went and I traveled in Central America for 4 months on like shoestring budget, and another subreddit if you'd like to follow.
Okay.
Shoestring. And so I came back and literally had nothing and like nowhere to live. And I had $300. I put $100 into Bitcoin, and it was $18,000 at the time.
Nice.
So I know, right? I wish I had more in there. I wish I had had more at the time when I was like. But anyway, I'm watching it like a fucking hawk, and.
But you put in at such a low number that it doesn't matter anymore.
It's not a lot. No, it didn't raise up.
No,
but
no,
I
no,
only
no.
Put $100 in. It's
No,
not
not just $100, but the price value of where you got in.
Yeah.
It was so low that it's very unlikely for it to go back to that.
No. I'll never lose that money.
Yeah.
I really don't think so.
So that's
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I mean, you know.
get out there, you crypto losers.
Yeah, fucking get some crypto. I recently invested in Sushi Swap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's actually you can use it to trade with other currencies. It's so crazy.
Exactly. I know. Fascinating. I don't know. I'm a novice. I'm a total novice, but I definitely I read Wall Street Bets sometimes, and then other times I'm like, God, you fucking nerds.
Right.
Like, just like,
how do you guys know all this?
I mean, but some of them are just also like jerking each other off, or just like, you know, whatever. Like, they'll just be like stupid comments. Like, you have to just like wade through like just more like retarded comments than anything sometimes, and I'm like,
so many diamond
by the way,
hands.
cancel me because I just said retarded. I'm trying to stop myself from saying that, but I have a habit of saying that, and it's like people are offended.
So do you know the root word of retarded?
Yeah, slow. I mean, to retard is to slow down.
Retardado.
Oh, is it Spanish?
Very slow.
I thought it was like Latin.
That's what I love though, is that my dad used to always just tell me, "Cálmate retardado." Like he just wanted me to slow down.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't
okay.
calling me dumb. He wasn't
No.
doing, and he was just like, dude, you're running around in the
Too
house.
fast.
Slow down,
Too
retardado." And I was just like, that's amazing, because growing up, they always called me that. But now
Yeah.
it's just like such a stigma.
I
Where it's
know
just,
now it's wrong. It just meant slow. I know. Well, yeah. I mean, when you retard something, like there's so many different ways to use the word to to retard. It's like actually kind of like a technical word, even, right?
in like music term.
Sure,
Yeah.
right?
So
Like, but
just slow down.
I know. So anyway, and I never really like even think about it when I say it, but I do mean dumb. I don't mean slow. I mean dumb. I don't know, or just like.
But that's another thing too, is like.
But dumb also means slow. I mean, it used to mean like mute, like you couldn't speak.
You're just dumb.
Yeah, like that was a word that people used for someone who was deaf and dumb, right? You were dumb because you were like mute, like if literally you could not speak.
Isn't that how Helen Keller's described?
Oh my.
Deaf, blind, and dumb.
Hey, now I heard there was a new thing going on amongst the youth that.
Tell me more.
That Helen Keller didn't exist.
This is just horrible.
Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Okay, well, my niece, 14 again, she told me.
You need to stop getting all this information.
No, she brought it up, and I was like, is this real? You know, like, really, do you think that Helen Keller didn't exist? Like, that's absurd. And she was like, how is it possible? How is it possible? Explain to me how it's possible. And I was like, well, it's called money and wealthy parents who were able to get the kind of care and education for a child that otherwise would have been thrown out with the fucking bathwater if they were as poor as us. Like, that's what it is.
This is getting horrible. So do you know where the Helen Keller conspiracy came from?
I don't.
It came from TikTok.
Oh, of course.
So the first thing I typed in was Helen Keller did not exist.
Oh, boy.
And everything that keeps popping up is, why is a TikTok conspiracy undermining truth? Why is TikTok questioning truth?
Oh, God.
Viral TikTok video. Do you want to watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what it is.
Sure.
So, but that's the thing too, is like there's so much of that, like literally we're getting all of this from just a basic search.
Yeah.
But it's so negative that I'm just like, whoa, why do they think this way? What's really the root of what's going on here?
Well, also, Google is extremely, like, weird and controlled. And
Duck, duck, go, baby.
Duck, duck, go. I know about duck, 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 go.
I was never the duck. Always the shitty goose.
Aww.
It's all right. It made me run fast. All right, here we go.
Makes you feel any better? A goose bit me in the crotch when I was a tiny child.
You?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I was very scared of it, and that goose got the best of me, so don't feel bad about being a goose.
You're like, we started to fight?
Aggressive gooses.
Oh, this stupid thing's not turned up.
Oh, get us some volume up in here.
This is why I need a Jamie. So I need a young Jamie. Yeah, I do it all myself.
Oh,
but
man.
if I had young Jamie here.
Yeah.
Camera switches, all the works.
Who's young Jamie? What does that even mean?
So, you know how Joe Rogan always has his young Jamie?
Right. I did not recognize the reference.
Anyways, let's go back to this TikTok video.
Oh, can we please talk about the conspiracy of why Helen Keller could not possibly have existed?
Oh, man. And this... Oh, yeah, that's why. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Why is nothing working right now?
Viral TikTok. I mean, this woman looks like she could be my age, so I'm wondering what's wrong with her. Why is she influencing the youth?
Why would something be wrong with her?
I don't know.
And to be fair, like, this is just like deaf news. It's like, that's crazy that they have their own YouTube channel.
I mean, no, it's not. How is that crazy?
Well, it's crazy in the sense that they're taking all the information from deaf news. Like, is this the only news source where we're getting this Helen Keller story from?
Well, I mean, right. Clearly, that would not be...
First of all, Google should not be using deaf news.
Reputable. Google should not be using any of us.
What? Well, technically, they have all the information of us. They
do.
Everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything.
All the things.
Everything. Doesn't that blow you away when you use Google Maps and you see a dead body? Like, why is that a thing?
What? What are you talking about?
So, you know when you use Google Maps and you just start searching different areas and stuff like that? Okay. Have you ever done this?
Yeah, like on the satellite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can actually, there's a website that actually shows you where every dead coordinate of somebody that died live on there. So, like,
really?
What they do is, like...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they'll take a picture, and I think the picture's updated within 2 to 6 months.
Wow.
Whatever the case is, and every time that upload comes, somebody scours that thing and finds all of them, and just like, this is where this guy's at. This is where this is where this dead body is at. I was like,
wow,
it's intense.
Do you wonder what it's like to be those people who do that kind of stuff?
Isn't it kind of like an investigation kind of thing where they're just like, I'm so intrigued, I want to find out as much as I can about it. Like Spanish.
I mean, hey, I mean, fair enough. I'm just always so fascinated with the people who compile the things that I like get off on the internet.
Like
I don't know. There's just all kinds of really interesting like maps that people come up with, like
Flat Earth.
You know, okay, of course. I mean, don't think I haven't watched those videos.
They're so bad.
Well, I mean, they're also fascinating, and I have to say there was actually some interesting history as a part of those videos, and they're not actually... I've seen worse videos.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you haven't watched worse than Flat Earth? I've watched worse than Flat Earth.
Well, I mean, I saw this video about Pleiadians one time.
Okay, well, my Reiki master told me that I'm from the Lyra star system, which means I'm one of the cat people.
The Lyra star system? Mm-hmm. So wait, does this still have to do with astrology?
Mm-hmm. Lyra is a constellation. A Lyra is a harp. And the cat people are from Lyra. And I'm one of them.
Does that have anything to do with your astrological sign?
Well, what's kind of funny is that actually I'm a Leo, and in Chinese astrology, I'm a tiger. So I don't know. You tell me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stumped on that one. But
my Reiki master told me. I mean, this was actually years ago. She did tell me that, and I found it fascinating. And of course, dove in to like, what does that mean? Well,
like, that's cool, but then I feel like I just have nothing but farm animals then, because I'm a horse and the Taurus. So that's it. Like, I'm farm animals.
Beasts of burden.
But you got these majestic...
Oh, no, I'm sexy cat. All the way.
That's no
100%,
fair.
100%.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I'm a fire tiger. So extra fire, celestial body, the sun.
Where does the fire come from?
I don't know. Chinese astrology. I don't know that much about it.
So,
I just get off on it. That's all.
I have a few friends too that are really into like cartoon shows and stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender and stuff.
Yeah, love that. Great show.
So they explained to me that out of everything, you are a firebender. Me. Mm-hmm. And it makes I'm still very skeptical. I'm like, what does that mean?
Why are you a firebender?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah,
like,
how come? What makes you one?
I guess I have kind of tick a lot. I'm like, I have like, I'm not angry, but I guess
Boy.
Okay, here we go. I'm not getting angry at all. But I guess I've been portrayed as like a stubborn or like, oh, you're like, why are we doing it this way? We can do it this way. It's way easier if we do it this way. And they're just like, dude, we're doing it this way. Just
Every time I watch The Last Airbender, I'm always like, God damn. Like, it's true. My sign is the worst, and I can't pretend to relate to the other ones. I'm those fire assholes.
That's a good thing.
I mean, it is what it is.
You're like rambunctious.
Yeah.
Independent.
You know, I mean, sure.
Powerful.
You know? Hot-tempered.
Flaming hot.
Yeah. A dick. You know, whatever. Yeah, it's great.
I love all these titles. Dude, I hate that this fucking video is not playing.
That is really unfortunate, even though that, like, cute little Japanese anime art girl right there looks like a real cutie patootie.
Are you into anime?
I really love the art. I do, but I don't really, like, follow any of the stories or comics.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but the art is fun to me. Okay, another one that's really great, subreddit sex comics. Ugh, great. A lot of really great sex anime.
Interesting. Like hentai, right?
I mean, is hentai like always with the tentacles though?
No.
Okay.
Hentai is porn, and then you actually go into tentacle hentai.
Oh, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's cartoon porn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
There was this, I think I still have it somewhere, but in my closet, but Glenn Danzig from the Misfits actually used to do comic books. But he did erotic comic books.
Fantastic.
It's crazy too, because it's just like, it's tentacle hentai, but it's like, you know, in Americanized art, like the way like an American would draw like his kind of
artwork. There's
art.
actually a local who does that.
Really?
Yeah, it's Cherry Pop Tart. You should look him up. He's real cool. His name is Larry Wells, and he makes this comic. He's been doing it for like 40 years.
We try not to name drop without asking.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Well, Cherry Pop Tart is a hot little dish.
That's dope.
And it's very like Americana little, yeah.
Nice. I'll have to check
cute.
it out.
It's super cute, yeah. Sex comics on Reddit. You don't follow that?
I don't.
Liar.
There's too much stuff to follow on Reddit.
He's making it up.
Like how? Like literally.
Can
like
I just say, why would you not follow that one though? I mean, that's like better than like 80% of what's on Reddit.
I could find it through my Twitter feed.
Too many things. I just read Twitter on like other things.
You're just like
I read Twitter posts on like Instagram and Reddit. And then I like screenshot them and like send them to other people because I relate sometimes.
Or you're just that person who's like, I don't have an account, but I always check the trending page of Twitter.
Yeah, I don't have. I think I did a long time ago, but I don't know. I really don't have an account, but I like find some really great little Twitter bits here and there.
To be fair, I kind of feel it's weird that Twitter is one of the most popular of the social media sites where a lot of stuff goes down on there.
Yeah, well, I mean, people like the word, you know, they do. I think that people enjoy the medium, that it isn't just about photos. And I think actually what I do appreciate too about Twitter is that I think it can be a place for a lot of intellectuals in a lot of ways, where like a lot of us get really like, even though there's some like little sex pot photos of me on my Instagram, like in a minor kind of way, but like, I mean, it's not, trust me. I know.
Boy.
I have two cousins who are like influencers. I didn't even know until like recently. I'm like, good God.
You're just like tens.
I was like, I mean, they got like thousands of likes, like thousands on all their and they're just like little tarts, man. They're like total little like babes. Yeah. And I'm just like, yowza. Like, I don't have anything near that. However, I think that people get tired of being inundated with photos of shit they don't want to see necessarily. And like, I don't know. I think people like the word. Like, it gets old to kind of see this like show off thing of the visual in some ways, where it's like, use your brain a little more.
Like you said, you'll just have people scrolling or just like passing by it super fast.
Yeah.
But if it's something that they have to like look at, they're just like, oh wait, this is all text. What is this?
Yeah, you gotta read it to get it, kind of thing.
It's a little different.
Yeah. Also, artifact porn is a really wonderful subreddit.
Interesting.
Well, you know, I like ancient things.
The only thing that I've ever seen that's an artifact that's had to deal with sex is like that old like bone of a penis, but it's like in an animal, and I'm just like,
okay, so wait,
horrible.
artifact porn is not actually pornography, but you know how they say like, you know, things are porn when they're like really cool or pretty, right? Like cloud porn or like, you know,
food porn.
Yeah. So artifact porn is like that, but I have
totally ruined my aspect of porn.
Good joke, but I have to say penis bones are actually really common in a lot of animals, and actually we're like the only, if you want to call us apes, I know there's a lot of controversy about that, that's fine, but
I'm a reptile.
But other, yeah, probably part at least.
I have an undula oblongata.
Medulla oblongata.
I have one, so.
But like chimps and shit have penis bones. Like that's how they like have erect penises. Like versus blood. Like we're really rare that blood
is the thing that does
the thing that does the job.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, like cats. Like cats have penis bones. Possums. I actually bought a possum penis bone at a voodoo apothecary in New Orleans recently because it was fascinating.
It just looks cool.
It was fucking witchcraft shit. I was like, I'm gonna buy that.
Is it used for any kind of witchcraft?
Totally. Like voodoo? Fuck yeah. It's cool.
Is it for multiple things? Like, or is it one of those things where you could just like, this is the specific thing for the last piece of the...
No, all the things are always multiple.
Okay.
You know, there's always like so many properties to all the things that people use in like magical workings.
Interesting. Like potions and stuff like that?
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
Yeah. Potions and little alligator feets and penis bones from possums.
Right. I'm thinking of like innocent rabbits. No. Good luck penis bones. That's what we need.
No, it's super fascinating.
That's dope. There's again though, that's what I love. Thanks again for coming. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
The world is just so amazing. Like there's so much that I don't understand. There's so much that I don't know. But then kind of indulging into it is just like another like idea. Like it's just so amazing to me because it's just like something that can like alter my mindset. Like I don't have to be thinking this way anymore because of something we brought up in the conversation where I'm just like, wow, you know, I've never really thought of it that way. But we've never had this conversation before either. And I'll probably have the same conversation with somebody else in that chair and I'll just be like, wow, that's crazy. Your perspective is so different.
Totally.
But yet, we all kind of like are the same.
Yeah, I mean...
Like very similar.
In a lot of essential ways. Yeah, I know. That's why we should stop like being such dicks to each other.
Like literally. Just get a penis bone.
You know what I mean? Like if you need one, you can just buy one.
I'm pretty sure, I don't want to be a dick, but I'm pretty sure Amazon sells them. I wouldn't want to buy a penis bone from Amazon though.
Oh, yikes.
Doesn't that lose like a lot of its like
authenticity?
Yeah,
perhaps.
no more witchcraft.
No more magic.
Not using
no more magic in that bone.
That'd be horrible though if you actually can get these magical supplies from Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you could buy them on Etsy though.
Oh,
why not?
That makes more sense.
Sure. I mean, that seems to be like a reputable, okay source for us, which at the same time, like, you can get away with selling all kinds of shit on Etsy, even though like it's technically supposed to be like vintage and handmade items.
Yeah.
But pretty sure that's not the case for everything.
That's kind of like, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but have you ever heard of eBay dicks?
No.
Okay, so what people do is like, I think it's on Etsy too, but what they do is they sell a very shiny object as a reflective surface. So when they take the picture of it, they are naked. So the reflection off of the object, you see a little guy like this naked with his penis out, but you're trying to buy a refrigerator or you're trying to buy a teapot. So you don't know it until you really look, and you're just like, oh, then they're called eBay dicks.
Because it works.
It does.
Wow.
And it passes the algorithm. They don't flag it, nothing like that.
Wow.
Again, I'm such a weirdo for finding these, but there's
I love this.
There's a website that actually goes and finds all these eBay dicks.
Oh my god, I love that.
So that's
isn't the human brain incredible that like we don't even realize it, but our brain does. Our brain is like, what? Sex, dick?
Yeah,
click,
it's there.
Click, 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 click. And why do we want to click on it anyway?
That's a good question. Is it?
No matter who you are, no matter what your sexual orientation is, no matter what, we want to click on it.
I think it's a behavioral thing, right? Since passed down, like...
I don't know. Why do I want to click on that little thing that I don't even see, but it's a dick and my brain knows it?
That's like if we were able to ask, like, your grandma or your great-grandma's, like, if there was a dick right there, would you click on it?
And she would say, absolutely not, on hell.
But then she'd be looking at it like, I'd hate to see that. I'm just saying, I don't see a difference in that. Like, maybe they do have a different moral value where they're like, ooh, that's taboo, we can't do that. But then again, in their head, they're just like, dick.
See, but that's where the transgression comes from and all the weird ass things that we do.
We all I got out of this is that we're one human. We're super amazing. And Summer's an amazing guest. She's going to come back again, right?
It's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I will.
But we've been here for like, I think almost 2 hours.
I'm not surprised. I was wondering. I was like, man.
2 hours, 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Nice.
Odin, what's up? Thank you for joining the chat. He's it's all good, mate. Feed, kill, repeat. I wish I knew what we were talking about at that sentence, but yeah, he did say that. Thank you for joining, Odin. You're awesome. And Jeremy Chavez, you're awesome too. Thanks again. Oh, Joey Jordanson. Oh, okay. So this is just music related. Are you into any bands or anything like Slipknot? You listen to Slipknot?
I don't, but I did when I was younger.
Okay.
A little bit, but it was never like my favorite thing.
So,
but they're from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, that's amazing. But just recently, actually,
you
today,
have a Slipknot tattoo.
Yeah, I do.
I remember.
It's awesome.
I remember.
Wow.
We weren't that drunk.
We got this. The guy from Slipknot, the drummer, one of the drummers, passed. He doesn't drum with them anymore. He passed away. Yeah, today.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what everyone's going crazy because he was like a very influential musician in the metal scene. So Joey Jordanson is like up there with like the gods with John Bonham and all those really amazing drummers. Neil Peart, he's really good.
I'm pretty bad at remembering names of a lot of people, but I bet I've heard it and I have respect.
And then he died at 46, so that kind of sucks.
That's young.
Yeah.
What did he die of?
Can somebody put that in the chat, please?
Somebody let us know.
I'm pretty sure it was see, this is one of those things where I need to read it instead of just swipe it.
Yeah, I don't know. No swiping. Because let's not make false claims about the death of...
He's just dead, though.
Well, that's fair.
And he did die just recently, yesterday.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah. But I'm not going to be like, oh, it was AIDS.
Yeah, we don't know.
I can't say that.
We don't know.
If anything.
I certainly don't know.
You're just like, I barely found out about this guy.
I'm like, who is that?
But yeah, Odin, yes, rest in peace. That guy was amazing. Again.
Yeah.
He probably knows too. He probably saw my Slipknot tattoo as well, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you like Slipknot too."
Oh yeah.
I just flaunt it out to any random person I meet.
It sounds like it. Now we know. I felt special, but I'll reconsider.
You remember Sheen? You know Sheen, right? From the party. Well,
Oh yeah.
I don't know you guys that well, like best friends, so I can't be like, oh yeah, remember Sheen? He was.
No, I do. Yeah, I remember him now. Yes.
He came to my podcast on Sunday.
Nice.
And the thing that I kept joking him about was, I really do need to stop inviting random people to my house. Because I never met him before.
Well, he seemed like a really nice guy.
He was hunky as hell. Did you see that polo shirt he had on?
He's super hunky.
His arms are like 20-inch bicep. Yeah. I'm just like,
oh yeah.
Can you please lift me up?
I definitely understand that. Yeah, he's hunky, super.
So I was like,
I feel like he also just kind of has this face that is like kind of just sweet.
Yeah, it's trusting.
Yeah.
It's very trusting.
Yeah, right? Like in combination with such a stature.
Very true.
Yeah.
I could have invited anybody else there, but I picked you two.
Oh, we're the best ones.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's hunky and she's got a great brain.
It's perfect.
Because we started talking right away. Like
we did.
philosophy and stuff right away. I'm just like, oh, Joe Rogan, our bodies are made out of water, the tide and the moon. And then I was just like, holy shit, I got to get this girl on the podcast.
It's true. We had a good chat. Yeah, I appreciate being a conversationalist, and I appreciate another person who is also a conversationalist. Like I love a banter. You know?
Yeah, that's so good, and that's what I feel I have to do this podcast for, is because we can't do this banter in real time anymore. Like it's not as fun. Mm-hmm. There's like, hey, we're hanging out and we're just like watching TV, but we're watching TV or on the phone, and then there's slightly conversations happening.
Sure.
We literally talked for 2 hours with no stop.
Yeah.
Like, we found out so much about each other.
We did.
Where you're just like,
you want to come to my birthday party?
I'm there. Can I sing Las Mañanitas?
Of course.
I will sing it.
Yes.
I will do it twice.
Oh, God. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to broadcast it necessarily, just so, not everyone shows up. No, just kidding.
It has to be, well, then I'm only staying for 5 minutes.
It's this Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My birthday is on Monday, but I'm going to have it's a very small gathering. And you know what's funny is I also invited someone who I met at Madison's party who wasn't even invited to Madison's party.
Interesting.
But by Madison, that is, but came with some other person who I forgot. But I love him. He's wonderful. His name is Josh. Wait, did you meet Josh? Love him. Super tall, long, dark hair, beardy. He was really great. He's great. He loves podcasts too. We nerded on it.
Interesting.
Okay, so I invited Josh to my birthday, even though I don't really know him. But we've been trying to hang out for a couple weeks.
Nice.
I was like, just come to my birthday. So first, I think we're going to go swimming. Not everyone has to go. I understand it's not everyone's favorite thing, but I am fucking going swimming in the pool. And then we're going to hang out at my house. We're going to play Cards Against Humanity because it's one of the most fun games ever.
Okay.
And I don't know. There's not going to be that many of us, but we're going to hang out. I don't know. Maybe like 8 of us. I have no idea, actually. It's not that big, but I think that's where Cards Against Humanity stays fun,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to do something with Cards Against Humanity where like I have a comedy show, but the person that comes up to do their set has to do whatever it says on the Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. It's a great prompt. I mean, they're really good prompts.
Yeah, it has so many good topics and so many things that you can riff on for like 5 minutes. Like,
you can get, I love winning at Cards Against Humanity.
Winning.
I do. I love it when because you're kind of picking other people's brains.
It's that tiger blood in you. Oh my God.
I know, it's dank. So
Hashtag winning.
It's true. I win. And you're seriously, you're picking people's brains where you're like, I'm going to figure you out.
Yeah.
And which cards are going to work for you. Because certain cards just really work on some people, and then other people they're just never gonna pick that.
Yeah, they fumble over it.
There's the perverted cards that certain people are never gonna pick, and you're don't give them the dick joke, and then there's someone else where you're give them the dick joke.
But then too, you're just let's see what they do with this dick joke.
No, because I win.
You're I already know what's gonna happen.
I already know it's gonna happen.
You're gonna
okay, so come play Cards Against Humanity. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
What time? We'll discuss it after the podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me the date? Where's the location?
You can probably hack my phone and see where I live right now from this spot.
People are not that. My
your listeners are not that savvy.
My friends, first of all, are too busy trying to get a dub on Call of Duty right now.
Oh.
So they'll come back to this after we're done.
Oh, excellent! That's perfect.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that always watch. Don't tune in for the live, or they do for a couple minutes, and then they're just I'll come back later, and then I'll see in the comment section they're I can't believe I missed that. So
they'll come back. I'm not worried about it.
That's what's
excellent.
Up.
Sunday.
You guys are awesome. Is there anywhere you want my fans to follow you, find you? I mean, you can plug anything if you want. I mean, no name drops, but you can plug something.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I have the Instagram,
The Instas.
Yeah, the Instas. Summer is made up.
Okay.
That's my handle.
Nice.
And yeah, sure, you can come hang out with me.
Very artsy fartsy.
Pretty much. Thank you for that. It's true. I am 35, so that will...
She's bragging at this point now. I just really need to just stop this.
I mean, when you're an old lady and you just accept it, and you just wear frumpy pants and call yourself a hipster, and back in the day, we rode Fixies.
It's because of those Adidas.
They're really good Adidas.
My Adidas. That's the name of this episode, to be fair, too. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big shout out again for Summer. Thank you so much for coming. And you guys know what to do. Just Google MuseMe TV. I swear to God, it'll be one of the first things that pop up. We'll have more guests coming in. A weekend is going to be filled. We got shows coming up. We got a bunch of things. So make sure to just stay in the loop. Just stay with us. I love you all. You guys are awesome. And Summer's great too.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
That was very fun.